So I need to jump right in and talk about something from our last episode.
Holy crap. Wait,
so,
the one that we didn't do?
Yes.
No, the one we did do without you.
Wrecked.
Okay.
Yeah, but we'll get to you in a minute. So last episode, I was crapping on, what you call it, Far Cry, the new one, New Dawn or whatever it is. Talking about how I was having a ton of stuttering and all this other stuff. Well, I want to go on the record as saying it wasn't Far Cry's fault. Apparently, I had a hard drive that had corrupted sectors, and that was the drive the game was installed on. So it was causing pretty much all my games to stutter. I played some other ones. It's causing bugs, all these things to not load. So for the record, wasn't Far Cry's fault. Gone through that, fixed that. Game runs smooth as butter now. Want to get that out there.
Well, that's good. Did you ever get the, what was it? What was the other thing you were doing? It was a beta for something. Can't remember what game it was. Was there another beta you were playing?
Oh, I had tried to play Anthem. I think everything else besides Anthem was working. But all games are working Anthem now. Yeah.
That's good. There's just some kind of fucky hard drive. Yeah, I had I said, people don't ever if you have multiple hard drives on your shit, don't ever fucking raid the damn things. Where it fucking sends half the fucking file to one, half the file to the other.
I don't do that. I do RAID 0.
Yeah.
Which is a mirror.
That motherfucker. So one of my hard drives died, lost all of my data. It was great. This happened like a couple years back. Oh, it was fucking infuriating.
It's always a pain, man. Always bad.
Yeah, I'd rather lose half of all of half of my games than half of all of my games, because it's just as it's just as well as losing all of your games.
Yeah. The only step that I've taken in the present, the older me, is now I have more hard drives. I have more backups. I pretty much have a backup drive for every other drive that I have, and I try to update them semi-regularly, maybe every 3 months or so. So hopefully, if shit goes south like that again, I've got it still there. But I know I don't know of a computer person out there that hasn't experienced that. But I've had it happen at least three. The bad times it happened 3 separate times in my life where hard drive is shot. Gigs, terabytes, maybe even worth of data. I've got family pictures I'm never going to have back, like family videos, and just all kind of just gone, just flat out gone.
Yep. I mentioned this before, but that's why I started backing up like all my pictures and important documents and stuff to Google. Mm-hmm. They have their backup and sync program. I love it. I just set it on a folder, and it syncs every change that happens.
Yeah. I wonder, because I've never used them before, I wonder how better / more accurate / cheaper hard drive recovery businesses have gotten. I don't know. The first time that I looked at one, this was back in, like 2002, 2003, and I had a 500 gigabyte. It might have been small. It might have been like a 250 gigabyte hard drive, and it shit the bed. And it was suggested, hey, man, you can find companies, you just mail your hard drive off. They get whatever they can and mail it back to you. And we're talking like $600-700 for this.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I tried a couple tricks before that didn't, because most of these tricks are give and take. They're not guaranteed to work. But I tried the freezer trick one time.
Yeah.
I fucking bagged it up in 3 separate bags, air sealed. My mom actually had an air sealer like that. She like when you're storing fucking fruits and vegetables and shit, it vacuum seals it, and had it in there. Sealer. Yeah, had it in there for a deep freeze too for a good week, and it worked. It actually worked for probably 20 seconds because I heard the bitch come on and I was like, oh, yes, and then it was done. It wouldn't do anything.
Just enough to give you hope.
Yeah, just enough to fucking give me hope.
Yeah. I saw speaking of weird fixes for fucking hard drives, I remember watching Linus Tech Tips actually tried out the baking your graphics card to get it to like the solder connections to re-fucking set. And they were like, don't try this at home, kids. So they took like every piece of rubber off of it, everything that could possibly, that wasn't like the circuit card. Mm-hmm. And they were like, all right, there's no scientific way to do this because you're an idiot for doing this in the first place.
Yep.
But we're going to set this oven to exactly the melting point of solder, and we're going to leave it in there for a minute. See how it goes. The son of a bitch worked.
Wow. I mean, hey, we're all old school-ish. We know the old red ring of death shit from the Xbox 360 era, and I know that
blowing on the Nintendo cartridge and
not quite blowing on a red ring of death. Xbox 360 will not get it to work.
don't ever blow the red ring of death.
You could supposedly, and there's people that have done it. It never happened to the. Damn, Chris, I think I have, 5 360s go out on me? 6 of them? I think the one I have in my room right now is like my 6th Xbox 360. But yeah, there was a trick that you could take a bunch of towels and wrap your Xbox 360 up in towels and let it sit running for a good 10, 15 minutes. And that's exactly what it did. It would heat the system up enough to where the soldering that did not solder correctly would melt and solder through correctly. That's fucking wild, man. But
you probably damaged any, plastic components that were inside the system.
Yeah, there was
I wouldn't recommend that.
There was all kind of write-ups for this and videos for it. Like you don't want to use too thick of a towel. You want to have it wrapped up, and you only, from the time that you start your 360, you only want to run it for 6 minutes and 6 seconds or some shit like that. There was a formula to this shit, and it worked. What are some other fixes that we could think of back in the day? Remember the PlayStation 1, like the first model PlayStation 1s, you had to turn a bitch on its side for it to work? Remember that one being a thing?
No. I was fortunate. I've only had one console go out on me, and that was my Halo 360, and it eventually Red Ring, but I got years of use out of it.
Yeah.
I was completely fine with it. I wasn't going to mess with it. I was like, you know what? You had a good run. I pulled the hard drive out of it, bought a new 360, and put the hard drive in the other one.
Yeah.
I can remember getting those big, long fucking Q-tips, like going and stealing them from your mom or whatever, looking underneath her bathroom counter and fucking trying to dig it out, fucking past the tampons and past the cotton balls, and you're looking for like the ridiculously long Q-tips, and then dipping them some bitches in alcohol and like trying to swab the internal connections of the NES.
Yeah.
And I can remember a little interesting thing. Did you know that those little cooler things they sold for the Xbox 360 actually made the situation worse?
No, never heard that.
Yeah, there was a, and I can't remember exactly, there was a cooler that was being sold all over the place. You could buy this damn thing at GameStop.
I had one of them. It was 3 little fans on the back. It basically extended the fan situation.
Yeah, it was supposed to buff the fans or whatever, but what they didn't tell you is it created like a pressure issue inside of the thing and actually retained some heat because of that. So your Xbox was actually getting hotter on the inside with the fan on it.
Well, that explains why one of my 360s shit the bed.
Probably.
The other ones are just, shit happens.
Like, there was one that was like, okay, this one's pretty good. And there was another one that was like, no, this one's horrible. It's going to fuck your shit up.
Because y'all know that I hate the well actuallys, man. I hate it, and I feel like I used to be one back in the day too. And if I was, I'm sorry for anybody that well actually, but there's a social norm now that has been this way for a long time, and I could well actually it, but I just go, you know what? You just got to throw your fucking hands up and roll with the crowd, man. Because anytime that you bring up NES, SNES, N64 cartridges, mainly NES cartridges, because they make fucking t-shirts with this meme around it. It's like, yeah, I remember, man, back in the day, blowing the fucking cartridge, right? That's what worked. Actually, it is actually true. You're actually throwing your saliva and spit and liquid on your board. You shouldn't do that. You know what? Chris, our cousin, Jughead, when he showed me how to blow on cartridges, he always did it. He would like put his shirt over it. He is the only person that I've ever fucking seen do that. Anybody else will just pick the card up and blow in it. If I didn't have him show me that way, I would have always done that way, and I probably would have. It ruins games over. We're talking years of time. We're talking decades of time. It has to be a lot of build up and yada yada yada. It's not gonna blow your NES out because you blow in a cartridge, but it's one of those moments, man, where society has picked up on that as being like the thing with Nintendo, and you want to put your glasses up and go, well, you really shouldn't do that, but.
Well, I mean, unless you're like fucking Reptile, your spit's not going to immediately destroy the fucking cartridge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It takes time.
I imagine, if your spit is like solid acid, then yeah, it's probably not a good idea to spit on the fucking NES cartridge. But
yeah, anybody
else, it's over time you're going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, a 10-year-old doing it once is probably not grounds for,
well, I'll tell you,
freaking the fuck out about it.
I blew in my cartridges quite often because I had a fucking hand-me-down NES from a pawn shop, and the games I had worked off and on. And yeah, it's so thanks, Jughead, for teaching me a more proper way to do that. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of time. I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Adam.
That's right. Your favorite host, producer, star of the show is back.
I've been here.
I've been missed. I've got all the fan emails. The End of Time cast mailbox is completely empty. So I missed all of you folks too. I kind of want to roll in the weeks, guys, because I want to get that shit out of the way and just bullshit the rest of the show. If y'all don't mind, I'd like to fucking steal the show and just
So, Michael, tell us about your fucking month.
So, I've actually thought of most of my plane ride today, how I wanted to do my week. I'm still going to do my best to take no more than 30 minutes. I don't want to go over. So, without going into super detail and giving all information away that people just don't need to know, my new job that I'm in throughout the year offers the opportunity to go on business trips.
He's a gigolo.
Yeah, I'm a gigolo. Most of it is work. I mean, it is a legit business trip that we're going on, but in my off time, I've been in some really cool places. The first place that I went to on the week that you guys recorded, and I wasn't here, I was actually in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii before, and Hawaii for me was actually pretty cool in that if you guys remember... or maybe just you, Chris. I don't remember if Adam was on the show when I talked about it, but I said, man, when I go to these places like Puerto Rico and St. Croix and these exotic places, I feel like they're wasted on me because I'm just not that kind of person. I don't look at brochures of brightly lit beaches and martinis and bikinis and go, oh wow, I can't wait to go there. Or and not even just that, like Greece and Italy and the pyramids. I don't know if I'm just genetically broken, but places like this always just make me go, it's whatever. If I go there, cool, but I'm not like breaking my bank to go to it, except for Disney. Disney changed me on that one, but Hawaii, I got to tell y'all guys, this is me. If you guys went to maybe, Paris, maybe it'll be different for you. Maybe Hawaii is whatever for you and Paris will be good for you. But Hawaii was actually pretty fucking cool. Some of the places that we got to see, some of the places we got to walk around. We initially stayed on the southern island of Honolulu, and then we spent a few days in the northern side of it. We walked around Waikiki several times, went to a lot of great shops, went to a couple really cool beaches. Tried my best to not spend a lot of money, but I did eat a lot of good food, had a lot of good times with a lot of good people. And some point in that trip, around the time that I was in Waikiki, I was like, man, this is really fucking nice. This is what I would go for. So it's definitely a different experience than the Puerto Rico and St. Croix trip I've had. Even with me,
I think it's just because it was in Persona 5.
It might have been.
You were just like, man, they went to Persona 5. This is that same place. Yeah.
There are a few other places I've been. I mean, I've been to Bucharest. I took a week-long trip myself to go to Ireland. I've been a few places. And aside from Disney, there's been no place that I've went to and been like, oh man, it was so much better than I thought, or oh wow, I can't believe I went. It was the greatest time ever. And most places have been kind of, yeah, I did the damn thing. You know, I went there. I've seen it. It's okay. But Hawaii was pretty nice. And on this recent trip, it wasn't anything special. I spent about a week in California. Nothing really of note on this recent trip. I mean, I hung out with a different set of people. Ate at some new restaurants. That is one takeaway from both this and Hawaii, is that I'm not a foodie, but I do like to try different foods. I especially like to try foods that are not around me where I live. And some good restaurants, some really good food. So I want to spend a couple minutes talking about this one bar we went to.
There you go.
Because I don't go out to bars.
Barcast.
I don't go out to bars that often. Definitely don't go out to clubs anymore. But most of the times that I was in California, both on the Hawaii trip and this one, people have been like, "Hey man, we're gonna go out. You want to go with me?" Yeah, sure, man. I'll fucking get out. I'll get out the apartment or get out the house or whatever. I'll come chill out for a while. So I went to this bar. And it's pretty nondescript when you walked in. Very small place, got a nice ass bar. Had a little arcade right when you walk in. A little bitty mini cabinet, the kind you got to pull a stool up to. Had 800 and something genuine, awesome ROM'd arcade games on them for free. He's like, "Yeah, man, just pick what you want." We're talking Donkey Kong, Mario, R-Types, Gradius, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat. If you name an arcade game, it was probably on there from, say, like the mid-2000s on back. So that was pretty cool. Had a couple games set up, like a giant freaking Connect 4 and Jenga and a skee ball thing. He's like, "Yeah, all for free." Had 2 pool tables. Yeah, man, that's free too. The only thing you really had to pay for at this damn place was putting money into a jukebox, which was one of those newfangled ones that had lots of fucking music, and of course the alcohol. So that wasn't even the big takeaway. That made me go, all right, this is a cool place. The arcades, if I get bored, I got an arcade to tide me over. So we walk in and we're all drinking, having a good time, and on this big screen TV, he's had this video playing. It was something like some Air Force kind of related video where they were taking people up in these fighter jets and going 0 to Mach 20 and watching them pass out. And he was like, "Yeah, we got a lot of Air Force people around the area, so they like to see shit like this. I don't care. Or I'm cool with it." So the video ends, and I didn't even know it was a YouTube video. I thought it was like his video or something. It was a YouTube video. So I'm looking around. I see the YouTube screen pop. I was like, "Hey, who's in charge of that YouTube right there?" He's like, "Well, me." I was like, "All right." He's like, "Well, I guess what you want to see?" I was like, "Nah, man. The stuff that I watch, you probably wouldn't want to put on here." And there was like 5 or 6 of us there, and then about 8 or 9 other random fucking people. And he was like, "I don't know, what shit you like to watch?" I was like, "I watch a lot of video game videos." He goes, "Bruh, it's whatever, man. What do you want to put on?" I just shit a game out. I was like, "I look for God of War." You could put like God of War 2018 video, and it was like a compilation of all the fights with Chris, help me out. Barlog, god damn it.
Bardock?
No.
You fought Bardock? Oh.
No, I'm not gonna.
Beelzebub?
No.
Beetlejuice?
No.
Balder, yeah. So
Balder.
it was like an hour and a half movie of all the fight scenes with him, and he was like, "You want to watch that?" I was like, "Sure." He put the fucking thing on and just let it play the whole time. And I caught him and multiple people like just randomly checking it out when the real good fight scenes and the real good graphics parts come up. And yeah. That was really fucking cool. I just random shit you would never expect to happen, and he was cool with it. So, nice place, good times, man, good trips, yada yada yada. So, on these trips, before I get to the games that I've been playing, let's see, non-gaming thing. I haven't watched any anime, haven't watched any movies. Most of what I've been doing lately has been honestly catching up on AGDQ videos and catching up on all the fucking YouTube videos that I couldn't watch. Gaming related on the go, I brought my Switch with me both of these trips, and see, I played a couple games, not anything that I was really working on until I got to Kirby. So I had a lot of downtime on these flights, and one of the games that I did buy and was working on was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. For those that don't know, there's two of those versions. There's Let's Go Eevee and there's Let's Go Pikachu. This is kind of an easy buy for me because I was in GameStop and they were side by side. And I asked my wife, I said, which one would you like? And she was like, well, of course I want Eevee. So we got Eevee. And yeah, so I was working on that for a bit. Definitely some changes in that game. So the idea of that is like a mix between it's like a remastering of the old original Pokemon games, but the battles
Yellow,
but the battle system revolves around the Pokemon Go stuff. I have never played Pokemon Go, so this was brand spanking new to me. I had a little hassle, honestly, for the first couple towns trying to precisely get down what I needed to do to capture Pokemon. And that seems so bad to say because they stand still and later on they move and that makes it harder. It wasn't the moving around that I wasn't understanding. It was the double rings. It took me forever to figure out how I'm supposed to time that to make the catches work better. To the point where I was even looking at videos, and I guess Nintendo just thinks that Pokemon Go is, it is so popular that everybody should know how to catch Pokemon in this new game. And I'm like, I'm missing it. I'm not getting this. I've pressed the button when these two circles and are in all kind of different alignments, and it's not working. But I finally figured it out and finally got it down. Really brief Pokemon history lesson with me. Back in high school, we're talking back in 97, 98 time frame, I did play through Pokemon Yellow at least twice. And that's it for me. Like, Pokemon never caught me and grabbed me. It was definitely fun. I remember enjoying it. I mean, I played through the game twice, so it obviously it had some kind of appeal to me. But I didn't really play much after that. I played the absolute fuck out of Pokemon Snap, though. I love that game. I did play Pokemon Stadium here and there, but as a whole, Pokemon as a franchise has never been one for me that grabbed me and like swept me off my feet for years. I've definitely respected it from a distance because, by God, from a popularity standpoint and a money-making standpoint, that game has legs for days. So when I saw this being a remake, I figured, yeah, why not? It looks really interesting. I like the new art. I like the new art style, the new design, and if the grinding aspect of the old Pokemon games is out, then I'll give the new Pokemon Go style capturing thing a go, and we'll see how it goes. I've made it a couple towns in. Can't really give you specifics because you got to catch a lot of Pokemon, and that's kind of how you level up and yada yada. Big takeaway is I enjoyed it for what little bit I played of it. And this goes for all these games on my Switch. Now that I'm back home and it's docked, it may be a little better, but it's kind of the same thing, man. They're kind of portable games. I may or may not continue with them. I may just keep them in this permanent travel state, so I'll just play them whenever I go. I don't know. But I didn't dislike Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I definitely want to get my wife to play it because I think there's all kind of little aspects about the game that are cute, and I think they're just really fucking adorable. Like your main Pokemon, whether you pick Pikachu or you pick Eevee, you have a way where you can actually interact with them. So, like Eevee, you can actually touch the screen and like rub her head, and she'll make little noises and stuff. You can feed them, you can play with them, and that's awesome. I think that's something that kids would have just died to have back in the early 90s, when Pokemon was being a thing. It's great to catch them, and it's great that Pikachu follows you around, but now you can play with them and yada, yada, yada. So
yeah, I'm not sure when they put that in, but that's been a thing for, I think, the last 3, maybe only 2 generations on the DS.
Probably. Like I said, man, I'm out of the loop. I'm so out of the loop. Another game that I played a good bit of, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the Switch version. Nice. I was going through it. Initially, I was going through it and just beating levels, and then I started going back and trying to get all the pieces, all the letters, all that stuff. So I'm enjoying it a little better, a little more actually, but Man, guys, I gotta tell you, I feel like I'm such a minority here, and I feel like people are gonna think I'm trying to be just a person that's just against the norm. But so Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze both aesthetically are awesome. I love how they designed those games to make them where there are no random like floating platforms. Everything that's in that game, aesthetically speaking, is there for a reason. You know, you're not jumping on a platform, you're jumping off of like a hippopotamus's head. And then, a zebra is holding up a plate because he's in a band or something. There's always, it's very themed. The theming of these games are awesome, and I like that. Mm-hmm. But there's something about these two games that I don't like in comparison to the first three Donkey Kong Country, the original Donkey Kong Countries. And because this bugged me, guys. This really bugged me for a while because I'm enjoying this game. The game controls okay, but I still feel like I'd rather go play the other three. And I think I have it whittled down to what it might actually be.
What is that?
The speed of these two games compared to the other two. And here's why. I have this weird mental thing where I always want to save the best thing for last, okay? So when I first played the original Donkey Kong Country, you gotta follow me, but I promise you it'll make sense. When I first played the original Donkey Kong Country, I thought Donkey Kong himself was so cool. And when I had this new character, Diddy Kong, introduced, I was like, man, I don't know who this Diddy person is. What's his deal? He's not Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's the cool one. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play as Donkey Kong. I'm going to open that barrel and get Diddy, and I'm going to swap Donkey Kong for Diddy. And I know I'm going to die a lot, so Diddy's going to die off, and then I'll have to play as Donkey Kong. That sounds so retarded and backwards. I get it. But that was my logic. What that did for almost every Donkey Kong Country, it never made me... well, definitely not in 2 and 3, but I played as Diddy almost the entire game. And if you put Donkey Kong up against Diddy Kong, Diddy is extremely faster. He runs faster. His rolling is faster. I'm sure somebody out there is going to tell me, no, they run at the same speed. But I do know that it always felt more kinetic when I played as Diddy. And there are games out there that suffer from the floating disease where you press jump and it takes like 4 seconds to land. I get I get when people say they don't like floaty games. I don't have anything to base this on because I can't think of a good platformer right now that really, really pinpoint that down. But for some reason, for me, Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze both, they control slightly floaty, and they seem like they kind of trudge along. That's the best way I can put it. The aesthetics are great. But I love the setting and the level designs and the extra characters. And I also love how in 1, 2, and 3, you swapped between characters. So in Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, you are always playing as Donkey Kong. Unless, am I saying that right? No, you're always playing as Donkey Kong. It's just you get a buddy with you that will help you. So you can't swap between those two. Huh. And I know this sounds like nitpicking, but I don't know. It just, I got, and it could be nostalgia too. It could be because I fucking love those 3 games. Well, mainly the 2 of them, and especially the Donkey Kong Country 2 because that was my favorite. But I respect Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze both. I do enjoy playing them, but if Adam came to me right now with, Donkey Kong Country 2 in one hand, Diddy's Conquest, and Tropical Freeze in the other, say, hey man, what you want to play? I'd go Diddy's Conquest. Easy.
One day in the not so distant future, I will call you out on this. If you don't immediately make that same decision, I'm going to call you a liar.
Okay, you can do that. All
right.
So
next time on End of Timecast,
I just had to get this out because I know it's going to come up in conversation sometime down the road. And I don't want people to think, oh, it's not like a hatred thing. dislike those two games at all. It's just the controls are just it's a little bit sludgy for me compared to what I remember playing. And fairly recently, I think I played Diddy's Conquest like early last year, January or February, so still fresh in my mind. Anyway, so that's another game I worked on. I got a few levels cranking out 100% stuff and getting all the extra stuff, and then I kind of went on to something else. I played a little bit more of Mario's Odyssey again, because why not? You can pick that up and jump in a few levels here and there and grab some shit. Then I got Kirby's Star Allies. I bought this one when I was in Waikiki, actually. And I'm going to tie this directly in to a game that I stopped playing before I left. So I stopped playing Kingdom Hearts 3, y'all. Stopped playing that game. I made it.
Okay.
I made it to.
Rip.
So since the last time we spoke about Kingdom Hearts 3 at all, I played through it. I was having an okay time, and I made it to the Tangled. Slight spoilers. Sorry because I know that's kind of a thing. People play these games because they want to know what kingdoms get revealed, but it's like the second kingdom in is the Tangled world. And so Chris, I can hear you now wanting to ask me why. I can tell you the moment that I stopped playing it, but the moment's just going to be the straw. The moment's not the totality.
You got to the frozen part, and they said, "Let it go."
Yeah. The moment that I stopped playing was in the Tangled world. Was in that first area that you're in, the little forest hills side area, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the part where there were birds flying around, and you had to go get the birds, and you had to walk extremely slow across a certain path, and if you ran or made a noise or something, the birds flew away. And she was like, no, now you got to go all the way back to the beginning and get them again. Yeah, I stopped there. Okay, so
I just went straight through that. I didn't realize that was a big deal if you didn't get it.
No, I got it, but it was childish.
Just took it out of you?
Okay.
There's been so many... This game... It's hard for me to even explain why the hell I don't even like this game as much as I thought I would. The best part about Kingdom... Let's talk about the good parts, okay? The good parts about Kingdom Hearts 3 was just the fact of being in Toy Story Land. That was cool. Typical Kingdom Hearts fare. Okay, they couldn't have every single Toy Story character in there. They had a healthy amount of the good people. I mean, come on, they had Woody and Buzz. That's kind of really all you need. But they had some extra ones, and that was cool. And they put a Toy Story-esque spin on why they were there and yada yada yada. All that was fine. The fucking moment that the fuckers in the robe showed up and it was the Organization 13 shit and all that. Chris, I have watched that fucking recap like 15 times. I still didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I felt very confident that I had the gist of what was going on in this game. That when these people started popping up, I was going to be, all right, I've got it. I know why you're here. I know what I'm doing. I've got it. And you know what? If it's me, it's fine. It's fine, world. It's me. I'm one of the 14 people in this world that don't get this story. But it's not just...
Suddenly, I feel really relieved after you drop Xenogears.
It's not...
it's like you can't follow Kingdom Hearts, so give up.
It's not just that, okay? There's such a... dichotomy with this game. On the one hand, you've got this little mini game where it's like, all right, just walk and not run and let the birds follow you. This baby puzzle that I could do when I was 3 years old. And then these fucking organization guys come in and they all start speaking in poetry and oh God, you gotta look out for the darkness of your heart. And it's like, oh, I can't. I just can't do it. I can't. This is just not for me. It's just
you can't play it like so fast and loose with how serious you're taking the plot.
I'm flying 90 miles an hour and then I get the brakes slammed on me. And then I fly 90 miles an hour and I get the brakes slammed on me. And the parts that I do like, I mean, okay, the gummy ship stuff, Chris, I did like that. I actually thought, like you said, the open galaxy-esque way they did it, pretty cool. Having the 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever star ranking things, so you can go into either mini battles or mini bosses. Doing a bunch of so you can collect a bunch of parts and build a better gummy ship, just like in 1 and 2. And I enjoyed that. I thought that was fine. Mickey has the stupidest fucking voice I've ever goddamn heard, and it was pissing me off.
That's awesome.
That I don't know why that bugged me.
Elaborate.
Maybe because I just recently went to Disney and I've got okay. Adam.
Yes.
Which of these two sounds more like Mickey? Oh gosh, Adam, I think we need to go get some Sora hearts, yay! Or gosh, Adam, we need to get some Sora hearts together, don't you think? Like, the second one doesn't even sound like
one of them sounds like a creepy pedophile from Family Guy.
Yes! It's like they didn't even try.
Why don't you come in here and take your shirt off?
It's like they just went and talk. They just went and talk like this. There's no reflection. There's no nothing. Just, hey, what are you doing? Hi. He always had that whoa, God. He always had those high peaks in his voice, and this didn't have the peaks. The other voices were okay. They didn't find all the thing about Tom Hanks's brother. That's Tom Hanks's brother that voiced Woody in this one. That's pretty cool because he sounds just like him. Tim Allen didn't voice Buzz, but they got a really good close sound alike.
They got Tim Allen's brother.
I feel bad in a way because I did drop $65 on this game, but at the same time, I don't push myself through games just because I spent money. I kept realizing that I wasn't briskly running through this game and just this was not God of Waring me. I wasn't just grinning ear to ear and having such a damn good time because the story was great and the music was great and the action was great and blah blah blah. It was like I was stumbling everywhere I was going. I was like, well, all right, I'm back in this town that I remember from Kingdom Hearts 2 vaguely. There's a cutscene with some people that I kind of sort of know their names and know what they're about, but not really. Oh fuck, I'm in Toy Story Land. Oh man, look at the graphics on it. Oh, I'm outside Andy's house. This is cool. I'm in a toy shop now. Oh wait, that Organization 13's here again. All right, so fuck, what was this deal? Why did he just do that thing? Oh, what? All right, I'm in a mech suit now. Woo, Woody and yes, it's good. All right, well now I'm chasing birds, and walking. I don't know. So I own the game. I've already contributed to the companies. I don't plan on trying to get my money back or anything. I don't feel like I'm not going to trade it in or anything. I may readdress Kingdom Hearts 3 down the road. I will say this much. I do have the Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 HD final mega super sonic mix, whatever. So I may do pretty much as Chris has done or is still doing, going through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and then jump into 3. I may do my homework, but I just had to put that game down. Just had to lay it down for a little while.
Right, it's kind of funny because I had the opposite experience of you. Every time Organization 13 or the actual Kingdom Hearts story popped up, I was like, all right, here we go. And then when the world was back, I was like, okay, this is cool, but let's get through it so I can get more meat to the story. Let's actually progress the Kingdom Hearts story. Yeah. Because like you said, I played through the other two, but I also watched the other side games be played or watched their movies and stuff. So I have all the lore from all the games, even the mobile game. I have the lore from, and that I can certainly understand where that caused me to care more about that part.
Yeah, and I've heard the argument made. Heard and read the argument that Kingdom Hearts would be a great game or maybe even a great franchise without the Disney stuff involved. Because admittedly, if I'm being really, really honest, I do see how it could feel like the Disney stuff is basically shoehorned in. I feel like they were given this is my problem with it, Adam. I feel like they were given the option, hey Disney, hey Square, y'all come together and make something, and instead of it being mostly a Disney whimsical thing, they said, nah, we gotta have the Organization 13 and the Heartless and the time traveling and the Anthem and all that. And Yeah, just...
I guess I wouldn't say it's so much that. The feeling I got from the couple hours I played in the first one, how can I describe this? It's like, instead of getting, you take ice cream, you put chocolate in it, and you get chocolate ice cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you take chocolate and you break up a bunch of Oreo cookies in it, you got a completely different fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I see Square and Disney mixing here. It's not a blend of Square and Disney together.
Yeah.
It's chunks of Disney, then chunks of Square, then chunks of Disney, then chunks of Square.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And they just don't work together.
Yeah.
And that brings up the question, like, why? I mean, let's go back to Kingdom Hearts 1.
Mm-hmm.
You meet like half the fucking cast of Final Fantasy 7 there.
Uh-huh.
At what point in their fucking world were they yanked out of their fucking timeline? Like, think about this. You go and you meet fucking Cloud, and he's all emo and being a little bitch. You tell him Aerith's like fucking alive, like right around the fucking corner. And he'd probably just go like, oh, well, let me just not be a little bitch and go fuck it over there. Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense to me.
The premise in the Kingdom Hearts universe is that all the Final Fantasy characters are from one world, where all the Final Fantasy characters coexist in some form or another.
So they didn't have their own
canon
worlds.
Storyline. It's not like there are, 13 Final Fantasy worlds or however many would be covered by the
So it's
So
not a matter of does he know is Ares dead or alive? It's that didn't even happen. That's not
right.
This is like an
okay. So let me ask you the same. Did they do the same shit for the Disney stuff? Are the toys like fuck Andy? I don't know who fuck Andy is.
No,
fuck that dude.
They've always
and then the Tangled people are like
they're pretty much remakes or spins on the existing. Yeah. They're more canon than the Square characters are.
I think they should both, if they're going to just shit can all the Square lore, they should have done the same to the Disney lore.
Well, they didn't do it to all of it.
Now I've got a dog in this fight.
They just selected pieces to use.
I think you just need to respect his lore, Adam. That's what you need to do.
All right. Look up Steve the Perv. I'm just saying, fucking, you're going to take one cannon and shoot it dead and not do it the same to the other one. That's kind of,
I think you said that. I think that's just one more addition to the wall of why this is just not appealing to me. Is that I feel like okay, somebody out there at some point, especially when these two franchises got almost identical in the control schemes, they said, "Hey, Namco. Hey Namco, and hey Capcom." You guys need to come together and make a fucking game. That not only is it, they didn't have to make that work. All they had to do then that was get the mechanics down. They had to get the interaction of these two universes together. Square and Disney is like, we have enough money and we have enough writing and yada yada. We can put this oil and water together and make it work. It'll just look really cool, but it's not. I don't know.
It goes back to the whole like it not mixing properly.
Yeah,
and to me that was just really, really jarring. But there is one good thing that came out of all of this. If you are done playing the game, you can let me borrow that shit.
I can.
Apparently, somebody
Chris?
tweeted. Called my bluff from last episode.
Yeah, you did. So the call has been answered. It was a little bit of a slip up at the beginning because it was somebody he knew, and then it was also a Facebook post that wasn't what he specified. And trust me, folks, you have to have specificity when you're talking to Adam because he will wiggle his way out of anything he can. But
that's right.
It came in correct. He himself was tweeted on Twitter from somebody else, so now he is obligated to get the game. And I'm going to let you borrow it. I'm telling you, Chris, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have enjoyed that game. He's going to fucking love it. He's going to come at us 3 months from now with a wealth of lore. Did you fuckers know that this and that and this guy was tied to this, but this was the reason why she didn't go back in time because he didn't have the fucking thing, and then Mickey was there. So it was all fucking Sora and Donald the whole time. And we were like, no, we didn't really. I didn't like it.
Adam's going to hate it.
Oh,
damn.
Who knows, man? Here's the thing. If you actually get into this series and play the games in order and do the work, apparently it's all supposed to just flow like fucking water. And I'm saying that it just did not for me because I didn't play all those games like that. I played 1 twice and I played 2 at least once, and that's it. All this other info I never got, and I'm being told on one hand, no, you don't even need all that. But then I played Kingdom Hearts 3 and said, no, fuck you, I do. Because the second guy that rolled up on the screen, I'm like, who are you? Why are you talking directly to Sora as if y'all have had rapport before? Oh, they have. They were in a game together that I never played. So, and it's not even just that. I feel like also the herky-jerky writing of this entire series has always been a little off to me. I don't want to put my fucking games on a pedestal, but I come from Suikoden 2 levels of RPG writing. I come from Final Fantasy 6 levels and Final Fantasy 12 levels and Witcher 3 levels of depth and broad strokes and all that. This has always been, I'm saying this respectfully, but I've always felt this way. Even in Kingdom Hearts 1, it's Sora, Donald, and Goofy are on a quest. They jump into a world. They kind of sort of paraphrase the story of that world. They save the day. They leave. They go to a new world. And they kind of sort of paraphrase. And if you don't want to use paraphrase, maybe use squeeze in. If that's better, if that works better for you. And they do the world and then they leave. The problem is there's another big overarching story that's taking place this whole entire time that's not. Winnie the Pooh has nothing to do with that I could see. So I don't know.
Really, looking at the series as a whole, including the side games, a couple of the side games are look like a better experience than the main games were.
Yeah, controls,
story, everything.
And so much of this, especially in Kingdom Hearts 3, I kind of remember Kingdom Hearts 2 having a bit of a challenge to it. But man, Chris, 3 was, dude. Take 4 steps, movie scene happens, enemies pop up. Take 22 steps, movie scene happens, enemies pop up. Go around the corner, enemies pop up. Go around another corner, enemies pop up. Go around a corner, boss. It's not exploration. There's a little bit. There's a and my God, Goofy and Donald both. Like, if you walked 100 feet by a secret, they were like, hey, you should look over there. That hidden thing is probably over there. It's like, well, thanks, Goofy, for taking that out of my hands. Now I can't explore and find that. You just told me where it is. And they kept doing it.
I didn't think you were going to find it, you dumbass. The guy starts talking to you through the screen, and he just looks directly at the screen.
Sounds like
you just awkwardly put your fucking controller down and walk out of the room.
Why are you such a dark person?
Maybe you shouldn't be playing this game. Maybe it's for kids. You're 30 years old.
Yes, I did feel that way. It definitely felt like it was for the much younger crowd of RPGs. See, I
got the pass because I'm gonna play this in front of my daughters, and I'm gonna be like,
oh yeah, they're gonna love it. I mean, even
they're gonna be like, oh, you should play the game.
Even when I was playing in front of my wife, again, when I got to Toy Story Land, I pointed the screen. She was like, oh look, there's freaking Woody, and he's got Andy written on the bottom of his shoe, and you're inside. Like she got it. That was a cool moment. It was definitely a cool moment for me and her together to see that.
So,
but I'm not watching Toy Story 3 the movie. I'm trying to play a video game, and I was not having that much fun.
Let me ask you this mindfuck question right now.
Okay.
So, there's this series that Disney has that already does what they're doing in Kingdom Hearts, and it's called Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay.
What happens there? Does Wreck-It Ralph go into Sora's world and think, oh, it's a video game? Or does Sora go into Wreck-It Ralph's world and go, oh, this is a completely separate little place?
You know,
how do they fucking interact? Which one wins? Which one is the higher canon?
That's a good question. I will say that because that's as far as I made it into the game, I don't even know what all the other worlds are in, but maybe that happens. I actually don't know. But
Wreck-It Ralph is interacting with fucking Zangief and Sonic and shit, and I mean, so I have a theory that he's probably higher up there than these guys are.
Maybe. Before I move on from Kingdom Hearts 3 on my side, Chris, I want to ask you one question. This is the only thing that I want to spoil for myself. Like flat out directly ask somebody. Because if you say yes to this question, I am going to go back into Kingdom Hearts 3 and I'm going to play through it. So all the worlds, all the Disney worlds that you visit, do you visit the Cars universe?
No.
Okay. Well, that was my last bastion. That was the last one. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But as of right now, I'm not. I just said, man.
You watch the last remaining fuck just burn away.
So yeah, everybody can blame Chris for that one. He did that. In my holy shit, I need to play something else. God, give me something else better to play. I ran to my Steam list. There's been a few games that I downloaded, and I started playing Time Spinner, which I just want you guys to guess what genre of game Time Spinner is.
Platformer shooter?
No. Metroidvania. So yeah, my number 2 wheelhouse.
That was my second guess right after racing.
I mean, is it not no platforming involved?
No, it is, but I mean the gist of the game, the selling point of the game, the bullet points highlight of the game is it's in the Metroidvania style.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah, so I started playing through that one. I played this after Kingdom Hearts 3, basically in between my 2 trips. I put probably 10, 15 something hours into it. I'm moving right along. Pretty cool game. I mean, there's nothing a lot to just screams the world's won over to me because it's a Metroidvania game. The way that you attack is pretty interesting. You have orbs that you attach one to each hand, and the orbs can have different properties. It can be a fireball orb, so you just basically throw this yo-yo style ball that goes out and comes back in. It can be a sword, so when you throw it out, a blade goes out with it. You can mix and match these, and I'm assuming that as you progress through this game, you get multiple types of orbs with multiple properties. So we'll see. At the end of the day, it's hitting my sweet spot. It's a Metroidvania style game. It's right up my alley. The reason why I jumped from Kirby Star Allies to Kingdom Hearts 3 is because this is something else that I've noticed. So Kingdom Hearts 3 had its moments where most of the time it was very linear and very easy. Mm-hmm. Kirby has always pretty much been very easy. And I've noticed over the last couple generations of Kirby games, they've gotten easier. The reason why I guess I prefer Kirby games over this Kingdom Hearts 3 is that the charm of Kirby has never been lost to me. There's more that I want from the Kirby franchise. There's no doubt about it, and this game does not offer that. So the premise of Kirby Star Allies, the hook of this game, the thing that makes it different from other, because pretty much every Kirby iteration has had something different, like a new gimmick, so to speak, much like the Yoshi games. The gimmick, I say that respectfully, of Kirby Star Allies is that you can. So yes, you can inhale enemies and get their abilities, and your standard fanfare is there: the fire, the needle, the sword, and all that. And there's about 5 or 10 new enemies that have new abilities. But the gimmick of this one is you can inhale them and take their ability, or you can toss a heart on top of them, and basically you recruit them into your party. A maximum of 3 people extra you can have. So you could be the sword Kirby, but you could also have a fire Kirby, and also have a wind Kirby, and also have like a water Kirby. And you can have those friend Kirbys. They have AI of their own. They're gonna dodge the enemy attacks. They're gonna jump over pits. They're gonna fight enemies for you on their own. You can also enlist their help to you. So different combinations of different enemies or different allies offer different things. For example, if you are Sword Kirby and you throw your hand up and the fire Kirby will be like, yeah, and he throws fire on you, so now you have a fire sword, so on and so forth. That's great in premise, but the problem is the drawback is this game is so piss easy that it will. So okay, let me give an example. I'm playing Kirby's Superstar or Kirby's Adventure for the Nintendo Entertainment System, Chris. And this is somewhat new to me, but I get the idea that now I can have enemies' abilities. I walk up to this area, and there is a cannon on the ground with a piece of rope hanging out, going underneath the ground, and then the tip of the other end of the rope is sticking out of the ground. And I'm puzzled, and I'm thinking about it. What do I need to do here? I walk over to the cannon. I sit in the cannon. Okay. So he actually gets into the cannon. Well, obviously it's a cannon. I need to fire the cannon. How can I do that? Well, there's the rope. Okay, I need to set the cannon on fire. Okay, well, and I backtrack, and there's a little fire enemy. I inhale the fire enemy. I get the fire ability. I walk up and I blow fire on the rope. And the rope starts catching fire, and I go, "Oh, I gotta run over there." Well, the cannon took off. Okay, I need to stand on the other side and hit and light the fire, or I just need to be faster, or maybe he has an ability that I don't know, like double tapping to the right to where it makes you into a fireball or whatever. The point of this, Chris, is I had to figure this out on my own. Kirby Star Allies, and again, this has been a problem with some of these later Kirby's period, you walk up to the puzzle, and there's automatically a sign right there basically telling you what to do. And that happens multiple times in this game. Like, you'll walk up to an area, you're like, well, this is obviously a puzzle, and there's a thing saying, hey, you need to have this ability and this ability to get past here. And you're like, well, shit. So I go inhale this enemy, and then I throw my heart on another guy, and it's like, oh, I've got the wind, and I've got the pole, so, and then I do the thing, and then I get past it. Like, okay. I didn't figure anything out. It was just told to me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Do you think it's marketed towards a younger audience, and that's kind of why they did that?
Yeah, I feel like they... so Kirby's he's a little cute pink puffball. It's really hard, despite the cover art for some of these games, giving him like this scowl. It's really hard to market him toward a older audience, and I get that. But to me, man, like Kirby's Adventure and Kirby's Kirby 64, the Legend of the Crystal Shards, or whatever it was called, those are heyday Kirby games for me. To me, that's what I want Kirby to be. I need a Kirby game, and another detriment to this game. And I'm saying detriment, but I'm about to almost beat the game. I've got like I've almost 100% at every single level, so it's not like I don't like the game. But I do look at the ease of this game and go, I wish you offered a little more. It's not just the difficulty that I want to offer; it's the quantity. I want like 120 to 140 levels in a Kirby game, and I want that Kirby 64 stick back. That was the best for me that has yet to be realized again, where it's not just Kirby can inhale an enemy and get their ability, he can inhale two enemies and you can get a different thing, so then it becomes, okay, not only how do I get past this puzzle, what ability do I need to get past this puzzle? It's what two abilities do I need to combine to get past this puzzle? That was the best for me. It has yet to be fully realized again. The other detriment about this game is apparently there's only 4 worlds in it. Now, don't spoil anything for me, folks, because maybe after I beat the 4th one, another one opens up, or maybe if I complete everything, another one opens up. But I'm looking on the world map as I was flying home today, and I beat the 3rd world, and the 4th one opened up, and there's no space for anything more. So it's also a relatively short game. So fairly linear, fairly simplistic as far as that you don't really have the aha moments, and not long enough. But is cute as hell and charming, and it is fun. I will give it that. The charm is there.
Sure. Is it a full price game or is it a cheaper one?
Man, Chris is going to call me out like this on my own podcast. I actually don't know, how much I paid
I'll
for this game because I bought it and 2 other games at a GameStop in Hawaii. Like, I just bought them, and I didn't really look at the price. I made sure I got a new copy though.
It is full price.
Okay, yeah,
$60.
I feel 30-ish would be better, but I feel that's me being kind of selfish. You know, there's something that I'm looking for with these Kirby games, and this one just does not have it. It has the potential. It can do it, but it's up to Nintendo. Nintendo needs to just scale that age gap up and widen the fucking playing field. It doesn't have to be. I don't need a Breath of the Wild Kirby. Okay, I don't need that. I need more like a Mario 64,
Demon Souls,
like
Kirby.
a Mario 64 / Super Mario World Kirby. I need multiple levels, and again,
super edgy, grimdark Kirby.
Having 60 different enemies out there, and every enemy having a unique ability, but every stage having like 15 to 20 of who knows what of those enemies. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what combination of 2 do I need to fuse together to get past this puzzle? That's what I'm looking for. This doesn't, it just doesn't fit the bill. It is fun though. I'm playing through it. Sad to say, I'm enjoying it more than Kingdom Hearts 3. What that's worth.
Rip.
And that is pretty much it.
That's pretty unforgivable, actually. I feel Kirby games beating out Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. What do you want? So I imagine.
I'm not saying you're a weirdo. I'm just saying it's.
Yeah.
Wow.
I imagine I'll probably be playing out Time Spinner now that I'm back home. I may go back through and play Resident Evil 2 remake again because there's more to do in that game for me.
Yeah.
But
did you beat it with tofu yet?
I didn't even know tofu was a thing. I hope you didn't spoil that for me. I
don't know if they put it in the new one. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
If they completely remade the game, then Tofu and Hulk would be in there, right?
If they did, I'd have to because I did play that. Before I pass the microphone off, did I tell y'all about me beating Resident Evil 2 remake? Was that
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I'm pretty sure you were crying about how it was scary.
About Mr. About the
headshots not working.
Mr. X chasing me down the hallways. Yeah. So that, I mean, nothing really noteworthy here. I did play through it all the way. I beat the campaign, and I did see how. I'm curious of how the second campaign works because I immediately started playing the Claire campaign, but it was almost like it was forwarding me through multiple scenes, and it would just be me as Claire in a room in an area, and then I do a thing and pass a checkpoint, so to speak, and then where I would be having a cutscene or a story sequence happen with Leon, it would just fast forward, and I'd be in a completely different area with Claire. So I feel like they kind of do the Leon A, Claire B, but they're doing it in a different way. Either way,
that's very odd.
Yeah,
because I didn't get that feeling because I was playing Claire. Well, I was playing the whatever the first one is. I didn't do the B.
Yeah.
So I did Claire.
Yeah, so let me give an example. When I played as Leon at the very beginning of the game, this is spoiler free. I mean, it's as spoiler free as I can get for you folks. At the very beginning of the game, Leon he pulls his Jeep up to a gas station. And he gets out his Jeep, and you can walk around.
Oh, man, he gets out of the Jeep?
And you walk into the gas station, and it's like kind of run down, some shit's going on. You hear some banging, blah, 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 blah. And he goes back there and opens the door and get attacked by a zombie. And he's like, oh, fuck this, and goes to leave. And then some more zombies come after him. And then a fucking wave of zombie comes at him, and he opens the door, and Claire's there, and he goes, get out! For Resident Evil 2, the original. And then they blah, blah, blah. They get the Jeep and haul ass. That whole sequence is probably a good 5 to 10 minutes long, depending on the person and how long you choose to play it. Claire, it was like she showed up, and it's like the cutscene just jumped to Leon going, get out, and then they were in the Jeep, and then the thing happened, and then she was basically at the first little streetway for the Raccoon City Police Department.
That's not what happened on Claire A at all.
I know. So I And probably what I would like to do is just start a new file as Claire A and just keep my Leon A clear, you know?
Sure.
So, yeah, because and I don't mind it. If I had played both of their scenarios all the way through, I wouldn't have minded it. But as I was playing through Claire's, I was like, I feel like I'm missing shit. I feel like I know what happened on Leon's side, but I feel like I'm not getting all of her stuff. So, we'll see. In the end, though, the game was good. Like, I have no complaints. Had a good time. Enjoyed it. Man, I'm telling you, the way that they did Mr. X in this game was fucking... I love it. But, yeah, I played that and said, all right, folks, let's go into Kingdom Hearts 3. Here we go. And that's how that ended.
That's not a good transition to make.
Yeah, no. So I'm going to pick... who's the worst of us three? Adam, how's your week been?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said the worst. You've already went.
I'm the reliable one.
Oh, man. My week. Oh, man. Mostly,
or 2 weeks.
whole lot of side stuff going on. Been very busy making my rounds about the community to different places all about. But as far as gaming and nerd stuff goes, got a couple of things. We had a whole lot of good stuff happen. It seems like this week particularly has been like nothing but cliffhanger cities for all the fucking anime that I'm watching. Like,
man,
I don't know what the fuck went on this week in Japan, but it was like they were just like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you every single time I watched a show. It was like, oh man, this really dramatic thing happened. Oh, tune in next week. Fuck you. So that literally, like, out of the probably 10 shows I'm watching, like 6 or 7 of them did this shit to me. So I'm waiting for next week pretty hard right now. Just to, check out all those different little plot threads that seem to be going on. Gaming wise, it hasn't really been a big week. I found out that the fucking Blu-ray player on the PS4 will not work unless you're connected to the internet. That was a good thing to learn. Like 10 seconds after, I told you about that update that was going on.
Yeah.
That seems like an incredibly horrible thing to add to a Blu-ray player. A requirement for internet access?
Yeah, it was like, you gotta sign into blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, I would, but I moved my thing, so I just had to, we were happy. Let me just go through the whole damn story. We got a kid's birthday party, last weekend. And so, there's like 4,000 little Rugrats running around, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what's a good way to entertain them? A fucking movie. We'll put a movie on, and then some of them will stop moving, and they'll sit there quietly. Maybe we can catch our breath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So I go in there, I say, oh, yeah, just use the PS4, it's whatever. And I'll walk off, go, I'm trying to, sidebar with a friend of mine and kind of figure out something that's going on. And the kids' mothers walk back in there and they go, oh, it's not working. And I'm like, you don't know how to use a fucking Blu-ray player? And they're like, I know how to use a Blu-ray player. It's messed up. And I was like, okay. I walk in there and the PlayStation is froze. Completely and utterly froze. It's sitting at the menu, but it has 0 response to controller input.
Nice.
And I'm like, what? So I'm hitting the PlayStation button. I'm hitting all the directional pads, the fucking shoulder buttons, the fucking analog stick. The damn thing's not moving. The controller is on. And I'm like, oh, did y'all like microwave my fucking PS4 while I wasn't looking? Man, this thing's brand new. So, long story short, there's no fucking power button on there. So I yanked the fucking power cord out of the wall, plug it back in, and the son of a bitch goes right back to the way it was. And I was like, what? So I'm still not getting any kind of controller input, anything like that. So I pull it out, and this time I wait 2 minutes and then plug it back in so that whatever type of little battery was keeping it like awake,
right,
like it's discharged. And yeah, right then is when I found out that if you click on the Blu-ray button it will not read a fucking Blu-ray disc. Even if you just go and insert the disc right into it, it will not. It requires you to be on the internet. I don't know whether that's copyright protection or what, but yeah, if you get a brand new factory PS4, or maybe it was with this last update, I don't fucking know, but yeah, pain in my ass.
That is not good at all.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I could just switch over to the PS3 and do this, but you know, it would be, if I'm going to go through that much pain and suffering, I might as well go and hook the modem back up, you know, so it was one way or the other. We ended up doing it, but it was just,
I can't think of, I mean, I guess it's like a pseudo way to backdoor check your discs to make sure they're not like stolen.
Yeah, that's
movies.
what I was thinking, is like if you had some bootleg thing, the PlayStation would fucking report you to the cops or something. I don't fucking know. I can't think of a good reason why a Blu-ray player would need to be connected to the internet.
It's definitely.
So, yeah, no movie was played at like that exact moment. It took like 20 minutes for me to go back in there and fucking hook the modem back up. The other thing is I almost got hit in the face by a piñata. That was great. So let me tell you this story. So one of the things I do for my kids, every single kid I have, we do a piñata. It's just one of those fun things you can do. It's a good group activity for kids. Everybody kind of loves it. There's candy involved, so everybody goes home with some candy. You know, it's just one of those little nice little activities. Good birthday party activity. Never had a problem with this until this freaking kid. I don't know whose kid it was. One of my daughter's friends from school comes over, and as I'm trying to put this piñata, like the first swack she took was like 2 feet over the top of the head of the piñata. Now, that would be okay if I wasn't also holding the piñata. You know how you grab a hold of the string and you pull the piñata up to make sure that it's like, you know, it's moving and they're all blindfolded and spun around and they're all Now, this thing goes 2 feet above it and it's already like a foot over her head. So, and it immediately severs the connection between the piñata and the rope, you know, and the damn thing falls to the ground. I'm like, well, okay, that's whatever. So, you know, the mothers grab her and say, okay, stop. And I stupidly don't wait until they've yanked her like clear of the piñata, because I think, okay, well, you know, an adult's arms are around you and they're telling you to stop rapidly. Let me just go ahead and bend down. And I get about halfway down when the stick goes whizzing by my head. She's trying to like put the fucking, you know, Geralt of Rivia fucking double axe handle on this thing while it's on the ground. I'm like, well, somebody's not getting candy. I needed that ear. And, then we kind of jerry-rigged it back up there and, you know, went on with our business. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting weekend as far as things go.
But I guess
gaming wise, I did try Red Dead again. Mm-hmm. And I just can't get into it. Like, I can't get into maybe if I had like a whole day to just sit down and play it, you know, but it's one of those things where and I think we talked about this before. It's not something you can just pick up and be like, I'm going to play it for an hour or two. No, you really need to binge this thing. Yeah. It's got to be, you know, a good chunk. You got to play this chunks at a time or else you're not going to be able to follow it.
It's not just that the game itself requires a commitment. It's almost like every quest you do requires a lengthy commitment.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, for most purposes, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just, you know, putting the thing into sleep mode, leaving it right where it's at, and just kind of chilling out and going and doing something else. But I picked it up, and I didn't know where the fuck I was. And people were shooting at me, and there were fucking loud noises, and I was like,
well, you weren't such a menace.
All right. And I actually think I'm in the middle of a mission or something. Mm-hmm. And so I did my normal thing where, you know, first reaction is to pull the knife out and stare at them with a wily eye. And they didn't take too kindly to that and proceeded to ventilate my gutorial area.
To the people that this game was made for, I know they're loving it. to the people that this is their bag and they enjoy this, and I enjoyed it. Dude, I can't play that game more than 50, 60 hours and act like I didn't enjoy something. I did. But I guess a better way to say this, for the people that game did not wear thin on them, this is right up their alley. It just got old to me. That's all it really is to it. I stopped kind of caring what was going on, and
Now, see, I don't even know what's going on. That's my problem. So, I just don't have enough time in. They're still like in the preliminary phases, I guess. And they're all talking shit. I do like spearing people. That is a lot of fun to just bum rush them with the knife and begin hacking away. That's some fun shit right there. Get your inner axe murderer out. I like the way their friends like stare in awe as this crazy bastard with the beard runs at his buddy with the knife.
Typical Adam.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. Like, what's your reaction if oh, we're in a gunfight, yeah, and you see this guy just charge at you. Your friend's paralyzed with fear, and he's just slowly being Jason Voorhees to death. I'd be scared too, man.
I will always have the memory of playing for like 5-6 hours and riding up in the fucking snowfield and fucking plowing somebody over on their horse because they fucking plowed me over on mine and dying and going, wow. RNG, huh? Right? That's what are you gonna do? So pretty much your gaming week is not so much still, which is fine, man.
Yeah,
you've got a wealth of years of gaming knowledge. This isn't just a weekly show.
I'd like to acquire some more one of these days. It's gonna happen.
Can't wait till you get in that Persona 5 again and find out that ending that's gonna blow your mind.
I find out the villain was Ryuji the whole time.
Funny enough, if you look back on some of our episodes around that time frame, I called it that Sojiro was gonna be the final boss. I 95% meant that as a joke, but there was a part of me that went, you know what? I wouldn't put it past this game. I would not put it past it. So,
well, I mean, Sojiro is a giant fucking flaming tool. So,
man,
he wanted to name. What kind of asshole treats a fucking runaway? Like, this kid is like, he even knows that you got screwed. He even suspects that you probably got screwed up. He's like, man, they took you away from your parents. They're doing all these things. They're gonna throw you in juvie. Man. They made you come live with me. And I'm going to be a complete fucking asshole to you. I got time. I got bitches to bang. And I don't fucking really want you here.
Man. He ain't got time for Akira. Right. That man's got a coffee shop to run. He's just like, women to bang.
He's like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't like you. And then the moment you get a cat, he's like, I want to name the cat.
Sojiro's a better man than you.
You got at least like 3 or 4 more levels of friendship before you could talk about naming my goddamn cat. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't let acquaintances, name my animals, much less like an enemy as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
We will not
I thought that was odd, and it's going to stick out forever. But
I will not tolerate this rampant Sojiro bashing on this podcast.
I'm just saying it hasn't improved.
We haven't played the game more.
He's just some guy that collects kids, as far as I'm concerned.
Collects kids? What? Oh my god!
Sojiro is just a creepy old man that collects kids. That's all.
I will tell you this: that the journey of that entire game was what kept it for me. The ending and the end sequence and all that. I kind of feel the ending to maybe 3 was a little better. The aha and the reveals and the wrap-ups and all that was done very well, but that entire fucking game of Persona 5 is why you should play that game,
Yeah, and that's how a game should be, you don't play Suikoden 2 for the ending.
No, nuh-uh.
I mean, the ending is fucking bombastically awesome.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you get, it could just rip your heart out and feed it to you, though.
Yeah.
But if the journey to get there isn't fucking just as good and filled with as many emotional ups and downs, it probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just depends on and especially in RPGs, you know, and that's one of the reasons I can look back at the Mass Effect trilogy and go, you know what? I still give all these games my recommendation.
Yeah.
You know? Even if it ended kind of wonky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wonky ending doesn't destroy the I mean, it could destroy the franchise if it goes way off in the left field or something. But as long as it's kind of on track and it just doesn't hit right, you know, that's not going to ruin things for me.
Yeah.
So a good ending doesn't make it a good game. A bad ending doesn't make it a bad game. I guess that could be an entire topic unto itself.
Yeah. I mean, we could take another game that you own and you'll get to eventually, God of War. God of War, it wraps up an ending, but it wasn't like the game wasn't like a 7 out of 10 and the ending made it go, now it's a 10. No, that whole fucking journey, that whole time, I was just ear to ear having a good time. Loved it. And that's exactly the same way it was from Persona 5.
Maybe after I get done with Kingdom Farts, I'll try that out. So I am itching to play something new.
Like the loading screen says, man, take your time.
Well, I'm apparently gonna have to take a lot of time because I gotta play Kingdom Hearts now.
Yeah, don't play God of War first. You'll really drop Kingdom Hearts like Michael did.
God!
Play Kingdom Hearts first. Set your expectations lower.
Oh yeah.
Well, my expectations could not be lowered.
Really?
Good.
Really?
I mean, actually, they probably. It could be like the next Mass Effect game.
Squall's in the game. Come on, man. Come on.
Squall's in the game. Is he?
He was in Kingdom Hearts.
Are you shitting me? No. Okay. He's not in 3 though.
Maybe.
Don't you fucking do this to me.
Cypher's there. Zell was in the background.
Can you kill him?
You can summon Zell as a helper.
Can you intentionally send him into like precarious situations, knowing that he will not survive?
You can have Zell and Titus sit on the balcony and that island, and they do the laugh together in HD, in glorious HD, and they eat a papu fruit.
Can we move on yet?
Why?
So I guess that's it for your week, Adam.
Pretty much.
Chris, the show is yours.
All right, how much time we got? We got like an hour and a half. That should be enough.
Oh,
maybe.
Jesus!
You son of a bitch.
Sorry, folks.
So let's see. I've got 7 games, some other stuff. So starting with non-gaming stuff. So this has been a tech week for me. This last week in particular, I'll really be covering 2 weeks, but this last week was the rough one. Like I was saying at the start, realized that actually on my streaming PC, I was finally doing some, rearranging of files, some little cleanup on my hard drives, and I've had these files that I cannot move. They would not move from the drive they were on to another one. They could play, the file wasn't corrupted itself, but for some reason it wouldn't transfer, and finally I took the time to go into Event Viewer and do all the, troubleshooting steps, and it's like, oh, there's a bad sector. I'm like, what? That's not good. This is my streaming computer. Mm-hmm. This is the one that has the better hardware in it. So I'm like, okay. So I go in, I repair them with the, the Windows command line tools, get that taken care of. I haven't even gone in and tried moving the files. I think I moved one just as a test, but now it's good. And I was like, you know what? I should check my gaming PC because I've known there was an issue because Far Cry New Dawn was freezing constantly. Like every time it would do loading, sometimes it was small loading, sometimes it was big loading. It'd be like a cutscene loading, or sometimes I'd just be in combat and it would happen. It would completely freeze the game, lock it up. Audio would play, but depending on what it was, it might loop or it might play and then stop, depending on how the track was. But it would do that, and it would be anywhere from 3 seconds to 10 seconds. And this was constant. This was like every couple minutes, if not more, depending on what was going on in the game. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty miserable experience. And then I tried playing the Anthem demo, and aside from the normal server issues that everybody was having, once I finally got in, I think this was the second part of the demo thing, the open beta, or whatever term it was for that. The game wasn't actually released yet. I went in, or wait, no, this was after the game was released. So I was playing the actual game. At this point, the demo had its own issues, and I talked about those before. This is the main game now. I went in, I was like, all right, I'm going to give Anthem a try. It's not the demo, it's not the beta, it's not a old build anymore. This is the actual game. So I load it up. I get through the little opening cinematic they do. I get control of my character. I'm like, all right, flight controls still suck. Got it. Sure. So I go on and I start playing, and I get to a point where it's like, kill the enemies. I'm like, okay, where are they? The game glitched to where there were no enemies on my screen. Apparently this hard drive problem was causing those files to not load. It was this random, arbitrary set of files depending on what I was playing. I believe for Far Cry New Dawn, the issue there was actually Uplay had corrupted sectors in its files.
Huh.
So anytime it would basically access Uplay for internet, achievements, stat tracking, all that stuff that Uplay does behind the scenes, it was triggering these files, these corrupted files that would cause the hang up.
Wow.
So I had the same thing happen in Anthem. So I was like, okay, this is not good. I need to fix this. And as part of this troubleshooting, I had uninstalled like almost everything on the computer because I'm like, something is causing this issue. And I thought it was software based. Because I had been installing some mobile emulators and stuff. And, some of them are more reputable than others. But I was trying to get to work and my antivirus wasn't picking up anything. So I was like, I don't think it's any of them, screwing me over like that. But I was uninstalling everything I could think of that might be, accessing something at random times. Because I was looking and the CPU, or not CPU, but the hard drive usage for the drive all my stuff was installed on would just be constantly pegged at random times. I wouldn't be doing anything, and then it would peg. And then to go back to normal. I'd be playing a game, it wouldn't be pegged, it'd be at like 20% utilization. And then all of a sudden, 100% for the entire time it was frozen. And that kind of led me to the hard drive thing. So I ended up buying I bought 2 new 4 gig hard drives because I already have some RAID enclosures I bought on sale not too long ago. I ended up ordering extra because I found one I wanted more somewhere else. So I had some laying around. So I bought hard drives to put in them. So now I have my data stuff, basically all my documents, pictures, etc. All the random files that aren't accessed for games or applications are on that RAID set of hard drives. RAID 0, like I was saying earlier, so it's mirrored because all I want is a backup, not this striping to get a little bit more space out of it. For the obvious reasons you mentioned, if it fails, it really sucks. And in my last RAID setup, one of the drives failed like immediately. So I would have been screwed from the start if that was the case. But I got that set up, and then I bought a solid state drive, a 1 terabyte solid state drive for games only. I put in, and that's only going to be for games and the programs that run games, Steam, Origin, etc. I haven't installed it yet, but I actually bought another 1 terabyte solid state drive just for applications to run on, like Visual Studio, Game Maker, Unity, all these high utilization,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to just buy a bunch of solid state drives, I'm always open to gifts.
The funny thing is, I bought the first one. I was like, oh, hey, this is a good price because solid state drives are, not as cheap as normal hard drives. Mm-hmm. And so the 1 terabyte I bought, the first one, it was $124. I was like, that's damn good.
That's really good. Those, they have been coming down recently, though.
Yeah. I bought my 500 gig and it was like $200 at the time or something like that. And that was on sale. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll pay $124. And then went on to buy the second one yesterday or a day before yesterday, $99 because it was Amazon deal of the day or something like that. I was like,
what the fuck?
Now you're just slapping me in the face. It's been like 3 days since I ordered the other one. And now it's $30 cheaper. Go fig. But yeah, $100, absolutely going to buy a 1 terabyte.
I want to say, and I got a 1 terabyte in my PC right now. And I think, I want to say it's about 2, maybe 3 years ago. And it cost me about $300. And I remember that being a good price when I got it. I was like, 1 terabyte, $300? That's not bad. So, holy shit, you got one for under $100 now? Yeah. Brand new?
Yeah.
And this isn't
an off-brand.
It's not like something... Yeah, it's not like something you got from China that's got like a flash drive and a fucking solid state hard drive case or something. Yeah,
it is made in Malaysia, but like I said, it's SanDisk, and they make pretty good hardware. So, but yes, so I still have to put that last drive in, but I'm not overly concerned. All that's meant is that I couldn't do any game dev the last week or so because I installed so many things. And I don't want to reinstall them just to switch. And I'm thinking about reformatting my OS drive just to start fresh.
You didn't lose anything too important, did you? Good.
Didn't lose anything at all.
Excellent.
So technically the hard drive is not dead. It is, I don't even know if it's truly dying. It just has a few bad sectors, which could mean it's dying. It absolutely could, and that's why I'm not taking chances. I've moved everything off of it, or actually made copies of it, as appropriate, to the other drives, and I've deactivated it in Windows, so it won't even show up anymore in my computer. But it's still there if I need to pull something off of it, just to keep it from, getting worse from load and stuff. But yeah, I lost nothing. And even if it had died, like I said earlier, I put stuff on Google Sync, the important stuff. The rest, oh well.
Yep, all your Steam games back themselves up to the cloud, so...
Yeah.
Come to think of it, there's not a whole lot of things. If my hard drive wiped today, and that's one of the things I learned when I lost my hard drive, is like, if I really care about it, I'll back it up somewhere else.
Yeah. And talking about the Steam thing, that's something else I did. I installed all but 3 games as part of this process to try to, First, I was freeing up space because my hard drive was ridiculous. And I thought maybe that was contributing. But so also, in spending too much money over the last couple of weeks, I had mentioned briefly, wasn't anything I really talked about, but I was using a couch at my desk, which is nice in theory, but it's too short. So it's really throwing me off because I work at my desk too for my, day job. So using a keyboard all day long and stuff while sitting on the couch, it's not quite working out. And I had started looking at, like trays, lap trays and stuff like that for laptops and stuff to put my keyboard on while I sit back to make it a little bit more comfortable. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and she's like, why don't you just get another chair? I was like, I could, but... And so I ended up buying another chair.
Is this one of those cool, like, evil villain chairs with the high back and you can, like, swivel around?
I mean...
That would go perfect with your, like, fucking command center looking...
So it kind of meets your criteria. I can do all those things, and it has a high back.
Excellent.
So the chair I had before was a DX Racer Formula Series gaming chair. One of all the streamers, all the gamers have, and I bought one after reading up on different ones, and that was the model I settled on. Got mine, liked it. Girlfriend bought one, or I bought one for her, I should say. So we both had the, not matching chairs, they're different colors, but the same chair. But when I moved, the cold from being in the pod transport and the way things were rubbing on it in the container, the stuff started coming off of it. The pillow got messed up that goes on the headrest part. So it wasn't in great shape after the move. And that's kind of what got me why I switched to the couch in the first place, because I just got tired of the chair. Good chair. And so when I went to look at a new chair, I decided that since I do work from home now, and I bought the chair back in 2015. So it's not like it was immediately something I'm going to replace. It was like 3.5 years roughly of usage, which is really good for me for a chair. I was for a time buying the cheap ones, and they would last like 6 months, and then the back would fall off, or the armrest would fall off or something. I ended up sitting on half of a chair for however long it took me to stop being lazy and buy another one. So I bought the DX Racer so I quit being cheap and get one that would last. And it's not like I want to throw out the one I have. It's still sitting in my living room because I don't have anywhere else to put it, but I'm not just going to throw it away. It's still a good chair. It's just, a few issues with it.
So anyway, basically, you just need to go and shave your head and buy a white Persian cat, and then surprise your maybe like an eye patch. Just don't tell your girlfriend any of this. And then just when she comes to talk to you, you just spin around and go, see what happens.
So I ended up going with an actual office chair. It's still DX Ray, so I shopped around a bit, and office chairs get expensive.
Yes.
For a good reason. But I'm not going to pay over $1,000 for one. Just off the bat, I understand it's similar to like a mattress. You know, you want to pay for a good mattress because you spend so much time in it. Same thing with a chair. If you're like me, you work from home, or you're a gamer that's going to spend, so many hours sitting in a chair. I understand putting money into it, but not $1,000, not for a chair. Especially because when I was looking at them, they're chairs similar to what I've sat in offices. Because the military buys chairs that are way too expensive instead of just buying normal office chairs. Especially when you work around higher ranking members of the military, you end up with these ridiculous chairs that have all these 13 levers, 16 different types of support, and you're like, I just need a chair to sit in. You go to sit in and like almost flips you over backwards because one of the levers isn't in. But yeah, so I was looking at all these, and they were all the style of chair that I've sat in an office and I do not like. So I went back to DX Racer and I was looking at their different products. I ended up going with the classic series office chair. It's actually intended for office usage. So it's thicker than the gaming chairs are. It's bigger, which is kind of a little odd because I'm sitting high now. Like the lowest setting on this chair, my knees are almost hitting the bottom of my desk.
Wow.
It's very weird. It's higher than the high setting on the previous chair, on the gaming chair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird adjustment. But so far, it's okay.
Let me ask you, Chris.
Sure.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just get a recliner?
I don't have room.
Oh, okay.
Wrecked.
And I'm not using my TV. I'm using my desk with my command center.
Double wrecked.
Because again, everybody's setup is different, but my battle station is set up where I'm in a recliner. And all my stuff, like I have like a lap, if I need it for eating or whatnot, I have like a lap thing I have a lap table I can literally put on my lap and then put stuff on it. But I have a table to my right that my mouse and keypad or mouse pad sits on, and then my wireless, which is wireless, and my wireless keyboard just sits in my lap. And then all my controllers are wireless. So
I actually have a holodeck in my house.
I'm sure you do. I've never seen that. You are lying. I've been to your house. You do not have a holodeck.
Yeah, I've been there. When's the last time you've been there?
Don't lie to people like that.
I'm just saying, I got a holodeck.
So yeah, it's a give and take with this though, because it is too comfortable. But yeah, this is the life. But I can also see if we have a business situation, it may be more beneficial to have. I don't know. You can alt tab all over the place with 6 monitors right here from a recliner. So I get it. If you ain't got the room, you ain't got the room.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the room in this apartment we're in. And it's one of those things where, the couch was nice, and I'd kick back and kind of sit back, but that also isn't good for productivity. Like you're mentioning, a little too comfortable sometimes.
Slowly fade off into the oblivion.
Yeah. It never actually happened, but it got close a few times.
Well,
so I got the chair.
I have another question before you get to this chair.
Okay.
I need to know, as the elephant in the room, it needs to be addressed. So you originally had a DX Racer gaming chair.
Yes.
What did you notice different about that, longevity aside, than any other office chair you had before? Like, what made it worth that purchase?
The seat overall was more comfortable. It was actually padded differently. Even the office chair version I have now isn't as comfortable as the gaming chair was, as far as, butt support goes, or butt comfort, I should say, not support. Typically, office chairs are sturdier, and aren't really intended for you to be super comfortable. They typically focus around posture and stuff like that. Yeah. The gaming chairs, super comfortable.
Gotcha.
You sink right into them, etc.
So this wasn't an Apple buy. Like it didn't. It's just because it said DX Racer didn't mean shit. It was legit a comfortable chair.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean,
good.
And if we didn't like it, I wouldn't have bought one for my girlfriend. And she still uses hers. Hers is in a much better condition. Like I said, mine got screwed up in the move, but hers is still good. She's got a couple, spots of wear and tear on it, but I bought hers probably 2 months after I bought mine. So she's also going on 3.5 years of usage. And I don't think we'll replace hers anytime soon. Maybe when we move and we'll give one of the kids that chair or something. I don't know. they both have their own chairs that are doing okay. So the other big purchase I made, so my phone, I don't know how much I've talked about it before on podcast, but my phone, it's a HTC 10, I believe is the model. Whatever the latest HTC phone was a year ago or so, about a year and a half ago. The battery on it is basically shot. So if it's not on the charger, it could last from 3 seconds to 5 minutes. And that's from full charge. You know, you put on the charger, it's like, 80%, 100%.
Jesus,
and then you take it off
crazy.
and it's like 97 and then dead.
Wow.
It started off dying at like 40%, which was annoying. But as long as I kept it above that, it was fine. And then it started dying at like 97%. So,
wow.
I work from home, so it can sit on the charger. That's not a huge issue. It was just very inconvenient. You know, there's no toilet, phone games for me.
Yeah.
First world problems. But whatever.
That would send me immediately to the freaking phone store for a new phone.
Just get a new battery.
Yeah, so except for the fact that you can't remove them on these phones.
Yeah,
you have
on
to
the
take them
newer
in.
phones, they're got to be like dismantled to get the battery out.
Oh wow! You know, I don't know that. I've never had to change a newer battery. I used to change the old ones. You just pull pull
like
the back
the Nokia
off.
brick.
No, I don't talk about a Nokia brick. I had a Samsung that you could just flip the back off of it and put a new battery in. But I guess they've changed that shit.
Yeah, because I used to buy the extended batteries and stuff that, made your phone thicker, but it lasts forever. Can't do that. Haven't been able to do that for like 5 years now, I think. At least.
They still make those little charger bricks that'll store like 4 charges worth of energy and then...
Oh, yeah. We have 3 of those.
Yep. We also have 3 of them, and I took 2 of them on the trip with me. And having a cell phone on, not adjusting the brightness and watching videos on that, and then also having the Nintendo Switch hooked into it, playing it, not adjusting brightness. For the 5-hour trip, when we got off the plane, 72% battery still left. Yeah. That is probably one of the best $20 I've ever spent on Amazon.
Oh, yeah. And I think I've got a bigger one than you have. I spent like $50 on a lightning deal for one. Ended up buying another smaller one. My girlfriend got one that came with a set of luggage, and we ended up buying her brother one for Christmas because he wanted one.
Yeah, those things are ridiculously useful.
Oh, yeah.
If you're any time you're going to be sitting there, and you're going to be somewhere prolonged away from a charger, beautiful to have. Like, yeah, as he was mentioning, I don't see why airlines haven't implemented little charger ports.
Yeah.
On the damn seats.
Some do.
You know what? A funny thing on that note, hotels the same way. I've stayed at 5 if you count the lodging one. So 5 separate hotels in the past 3 weeks, and only one of them it was every power outlet they had. It had 2 power outlets and 2 USBs, and there was like 9 power outlets in that entire room. So. I love that.
Yeah.
And then I went to another one that was fancier. We paid more money to be there, but they didn't have that. Just standard ports.
Yeah. So back to the phone itself. So I dealt with it for a couple of months now. I had looked on my Sprint. I have Sprint service. I looked on my Sprint account. It's like, yeah, your phone will be paid off because I did the installment payments just because. It was like, yeah, you've got 2 months and then you're paid off. I was like, okay, I'll wait. No big deal. So then I started looking at new phones because I got my tax return. So I was like, this is a good opportunity to go ahead and get this out of the way. So I started looking on Sprint, and I put in HTC because that's what I always filter by. Because I've been an HTC user for 10 years now, 11 years, just going from one model of HTC to another. Starting with the Mogul, which was this weird sliding screen keypad thing.
Oh, yeah.
Great phone. I love that phone. And I just kept upgrading HTCs from that. But they didn't have a single HTC phone listed. I did some Googling, and I don't know if it's just because of my area, and I don't know why it would be in this area, this lack of them. But I looked online, it's like, yeah, the new HTC is coming to Sprint. But I'm like, well, why are why is the most recent one not on there as well? I'm like, I don't want to switch to Samsung. That's what my girlfriend has, and it's a decent phone. I just don't want that. I want HTC. So I'm like, if I'm going to go to a different phone brand, you know what? I've been looking. I'm going to look at the Google Pixel because it seems pretty good. I've heard good things about it, and they're up to the third one now. So Google Pixel 3. So I look at that, and first I go to the Sprint site, and it doesn't show up. So I'm like, okay. So then I start looking on Google, and it's like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this to get it, you know, on your Sprint account and X and Y. And then it's like, but if you sign up for Google Fi, your phone will be $150 cheaper.
Huh.
I'm like, you have my attention.
Yeah.
Tell me more. So it's like, yeah. And Google Fi is basically what I've interpreted it as is it's their service, Google providing, you know, phone service, but they piggyback on all the other services. I don't know how this works out, but they have some relationship with like every major carrier. So you pretty much or seem to have a good coverage map. And it's an interesting plan setup because it's unlimited text, unlimited voice, but data is X amount per gig up to 10 gigs. And you may think, well, 10 gigs isn't much. And it's not. Absolutely not. We use like 15 gigs each on our plans currently. But after 10 gigs, it's free.
Huh.
It's just a little bit slower.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, sure. If, you know, my max bill from data usage is going to be an extra $50 because it's like $5 per gig or something like that.
Yeah.
If it's going to be $50, making my bill total like $60 or $70, sure, that's better than what I'm paying now with unlimited.
Yeah.
That's how you do it right there.
So I'm like, okay. So I now have a Google Pixel 3. I did not get the XL, and I sort of regret it because I didn't realize how small the Pixel was. Looking at the dimensions as I listed them on the site, it looked comparable. And it's not, realistically, once I put a case on it, it's not a huge difference. But it's still enough that I probably would have gone with the XL if I'd actually looked at them in a store. Gotta say, great experience with the phone so far. No issues. I have no idea how much data I've used because I actually turn off mobile data as I'm sitting home on my butt all day. So I'm just running off Wi-Fi.
Yep, that's the way we do it here.
In theory, I'm going to have a phone bill of like $30
Nice
from Google. And my Sprint bill monthly is over $200 because that includes the payments for, you know, 2 phones.
Right.
I've got to figure out how I'm going to end up transitioning my girlfriend's phone to the Google thing. I just have to make sure that it works out because I hate how Sprint does this. Her plan wasn't actually a installment plan like mine. Hers was a lease because they didn't give an option for installment. So once we pay off the lease thing, there's still like $400 you have to pay to actually own the phone. So I'm like, this isn't great. She has, you know, one of the latest. It's like the Note 8 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
One of the big recent ones. Stupid expensive. But on a monthly payment plan, I don't really care. Because the end amount was the same. But $30 a month, sure. I'll pay that for 3 years and own it. But yeah, so the screen quality on the Pixel is amazing. I love how good phone screens look now.
Yes.
It is ridiculous. Sometimes I'll look at things on my phone and be like, my computer screen doesn't look this good. Isn't this sharp?
And the cameras, the pictures they can take. I took some pictures with these past couple of weeks of various things, foods and just vehicles and stuff. And before I even posted them on Facebook, was like, man, I paid like $900 plus for my Rebel camera and all that stuff. And this thing takes damn near equivalency of that. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's one of those things I've noticed, like I watch a lot of Achievement Hunter, and when they do their live action stuff, like around the office, they'll have someone with an actual, you know, handheld, you know, studio quality camera, you know, walk around the office, but then 1 or 2 of them will have their phones out recording, and you cannot tell just as they cut the difference when they switch from one to the other. Mm-hmm. That's how good the iPhone camera is and whatever other cameras they have around the office on their phones. And that is absurd because who knows how much that big clunky studio camera costs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I think that's it for non-gaming stuff.
All right, you have 7 minutes left.
All right, well, I got 7 games, so a minute each. All right. So, oh god, where do I start? Let's start with Magic, because that's something I talk about routinely. Playing MTG Arena, it just keeps getting better and better and better with the UI.
Good.
MTG Arena is still in beta. They haven't released the full version, which is just amazing that it's the quality it is and still a beta version. This is of a quality that a lot of games end up at, 6 months down the road, a year down the road.
Right.
They've made all these changes, and now but they're taking the time. They're not saying, yeah, we're a full release, and it's free. So, it's like every couple of weeks they'll add quality of life things, or change the way things work. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it, they added the duplicate protection. So certain rarities, when you get duplicates, you get wild cards instead. So it's more useful. You build your collection faster. It's awesome. They added some small icons to cards in this last update. So you kind of had I don't remember what the visual indicator was. I think there was one, but it wasn't as obvious. If the other person knows what's in your hand because they have a, look at your hand card or something, or you had to reveal a card. Now it has a little eyeball on it for every card that they know it is.
Nice.
So it's these small little quality of life things, and it's amazing. It's so good. The ranks for pre-season 2 just closed. I ended up in ranked tier 4 or gold tier 4. So better than expected, but I think that's the same thing I finished in pre-season 1. Limited, which is in the drafting, I finished silver 3. I didn't do a whole lot of drafting, and I'm not good at drafting, so I just treated it usually as just collecting cards, which is my favorite type of mindset to go in with that, because if you're not playing best of 3 and you don't know exactly what you're doing, you don't know how the cards, what the synergy is, you're not going to have a very good time. You're going to lose a lot. Like my 4 drafts I did to get to silver 3. I don't know if I played any before this in this season, but I went 0-3 my first game.
Wow.
I was totally okay with it because I was collecting cards. I was, trying to get certain cards. I'm fine with that. And then I went 3-3. Hey, that's a step up. I got more rewards. And then I went 2-3 twice.
Nice.
So overall, not great results, but what I expected. I got my cards I wanted, based on what I was able to get. I have no issues with that. Zero issues with that.
That's the nice part, though, where you still got what you wanted, and you're unperturbed by anything else.
Yeah. So the only downside to those drafts were that they were Guilds of Ravnica instead of the new Ravnica Allegiance. They kind of rotate the decks, what do you call them? The expansion, or I think there's a different term for it, but they basically rotate the expansions out for the draft. So it was a little unfortunate, but then they had another event draft. They brought back the greedy draft, which is you start with 9 cards. You can play 2 land cards per turn, and you have no max hand size. So you're playing lots of cards. It's a much faster paced version of draft. But this one was Ravnica Allegiance, the latest expansion. So I jumped on top of that, and I did pretty good. I went 3-3, 4-3, 4-3 again, and then 2-3. Those were amazing. Those were probably the best results I've gotten. I don't think I've gotten more than 4-3. So to get it twice, I was stoked that I got that much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else? What other game do we want to go with? Trials Rising, real quick. It's out now, but I played the open beta. I had played the closed beta a while back. It was an interesting experience. It had some bugs and stuff. The open beta, I didn't run into a single bug. Everything I saw in the closed beta, they had fixed. I don't think anything gameplay-wise changed. It was purely just cleaning up the client itself, if you will.
Nice.
So good on them. I own the game. I haven't played it yet, though, since it released because of other stuff I've been going through. And I enjoy playing Trials. I am not good at Trials games at all.
Yeah, same here.
I suck.
I have fun with them for a while, but when they get super critical hard, I'm like, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Yeah, like in the open beta, I don't know how quick you get to it in the main game, but not too long in, I played it. I don't even know how many hours I played it. But I got to a level that was classified as extreme, and it's like, yeah, try to beat this before the beta ends. I played it. I spent about 20 minutes on it, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'll wait for the main game. Hopefully there'll be more levels that aren't extreme for me to play. But yeah, Trials games are so good, and they just keep improving them. The graphics get better.
There's a hell of a community got around those games too.
Oh yeah, the guy in Trials Rising that does the tutorial thing, that's a guy that was a fan who made YouTube videos. They brought him in to make the in-game tutorial.
Yeah, he just got a good personality, and they're like, yeah, man, come on.
Yeah, it's amazing. Love it when companies take advantage of fans like that. I say take advantage, you know, bring them on board.
Yeah.
To help support the game when they do so much for the community for free. I say for free, but you know, YouTube monetization, etc., whatever. I know.
Yeah.
Technically for free. God, what else? Okay. So something I just touched on today, because I forgot it released. I only played it for 20 minutes, but Toe Jam and Earl back in the groove.
Okay. All right. I'm interested.
So thinking back, and help me with this, but I believe the old game was kind of a left to right thing. It wasn't like was it like isometric 3D-ish?
I see. That's something I was always curious about. I thought I saw ads for both, but I think the game was side-scrolling. I think there were two different games. One was the kind of above, like top-down-ish, and the other one was side-scrolling. Fun fact, I never played either one of them. My wife has, but I never have.
Okay. So back in the groove is that top-down thing. There is the funk zone, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. And that's the one where you're kind of sliding from left to right. And you have to get money and experience and all these things while avoiding walls and gates that will take you back to the quote-unquote real world. I don't even know what to call this game. As far as genre goes, you just walk around and press A on stuff to see what happens. You have a couple other button interactions. It's very simple. I'm going to throw out before I go any further talking about how simple it is. It's only $20.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're charging you $60 for a very simple game. This is $20. $20, I think, is well spent just for the nostalgia. The music is great for this game. It's that funky, you know, Toe Jam and Earl music, just like the old school games. Still has it. It's good. There is apparently a multiplayer mode over internet you can play. So that's interesting. I didn't even know that was going to be a feature until I get to the main screen. And it's like, do you want other people to be able to join your game? I'm like, no.
No.
Weird.
What do you think this is, Dark Souls? Get out of here.
But I actually looked when I was writing my notes for this game. I was like, what is the genre of this? So I went on Steam, and the only genre tag on it is adventure. That's it.
Since we're talking about like tags and stuff like that, let me ask you, would you consider Anthem an RPG?
Oh God,
I've seen a lot of different tags put on it, but they're like it's a shooter looter RPG, and I'm wondering. Because I've seen that label gets misapplied a lot. And we've talked about this before, but like you could consider Madden an RPG if you go by certain metrics.
Let me think about it, and when I get to Anthem, we'll talk about that more.
Oh.
Because that's on my list too.
Okay.
So Toe Jam and Earl, like I was saying, I don't know how much I'll play it, but it's a interesting little game. It's really a old school game. It's one of those random ass games. You wander around doing things that has almost no purpose. I mean, there's a story. You know, you crash land on Earth and you're collecting these parts. I don't know. I just did part of the tutorial world, which is a thing. I guess there's different worlds. So there's some sort of procedurally generated stuff, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I played 20 minutes of it, just enough to be able to talk about it today. Because I totally spaced. I was coming out and I had hours. I was playing Magic instead of playing this. So if you played the old one, drop the $20, play the new one. If nothing else, just to show those guys some love. Let's see. Okay, so I'll talk about Far Cry New Dawn a little bit more. So now that I'm playing without stuttering, like I was saying earlier, it runs very smooth. No issues. The game is just kind of boring overall. I don't feel invested in any of the characters. The gameplay isn't amazing.
There's not really anything stand out about it. Game.
That's another one of those games that's got all those little mechanics in it.
I mean, I don't have an issue with the mechanics that are in it.
I don't have a problem with the mechanics being in there. It's just it's one of those things I noticed. It's kind of prevalent now. They've decided that RPGs can be mixed into any other genre, and they do so willy-nilly. But whether or not they put the tag on there, that's like that. In the Far Cry games that I've played, they've got like a skill tree going on.
Yeah,
or they'll have XP and levels. Even Call of Duty has levels now. Like, okay, you grind up to level 60, and you got this gun unlocked, and blah 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 blah, and here's your perks / feats to help you out. Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like it's basically a collecting game. There are tons of things on the map. I don't care about most of them. I'm just basically marking checkboxes off the map, kind of like, Assassin's Creed, except you're missing the chunk that you care about. Have all these things you can collect, but you have these awesome environments to look at. You have these, cool story things going on in each area you're collecting at. But then Far Cry, you have kind of none of that. There's lore scattered around the world, but it's nothing you care about. It's not that interesting. I have, like, my current story mission is across the map. So obviously, they intend for me to do everything along the way to stretch it out. I have no interest in the story mission. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. Okay. So what Far Cry New Dawn has become for me is a game I just hop into and fast travel as much as I can across the map to check the things on it, just to, progress a little bit. When I don't have time for something else. I'm not ready to sit down and put 4 hours into another game. I'll pick it up for an hour, run around. I'm like, all right, that's cool. The companions are neat that you can have follow you around, because you can play this 2 players. But if you're playing solo, you get these companions. I don't even know how, or you might get them in 2-player. I don't know. I'm assuming the second person replaces your companion. But like, there's a dog, and the dog is awesome. He highlights all the loot for me. That's the best dog ever. Mm-hmm. Show me where all the loot is, doggy. I got him to max level last time I played, so I'm like, I guess I'll switch to someone else. But I can't go collect loot now because I'm not using them, so I have to go do shooty things.
That's just like it's just like that game Mike was playing. There's a dog that shows him where all the loot is, but he didn't like that dog.
A little different, but sure.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
Goofy.
I knew I was being sarcastic.
You knew you were being sarcastic?
I know you've been gone for a couple weeks, so I wanted to make sure you weren't, your brain hadn't turned to mush. I was trying to help you out there.
You have to follow the key to your heart, Sora.
Yeah.
All right. So swap. Since you've played both those games, right now, swap Goofy into Far Cry and that dog into Kingdom Hearts. What changes?
One has a voice, the other doesn't.
So how does Goofy interact in this Far Cry world that you're playing? It's like, oh shit, they're shooting at us. This is fucked up.
Anyway,
Goofy's all tossing grenades. He's like, I need some cover fire over here. Holy shit! The dog is sitting there with Donald and Sora, and it's like, Rawr! And they're like, can't you talk? And he's like, Rawr! I'm just a fucking dog.
Must be a heartless.
They kill the dog, trying to loot it.
I guess we should put this dog out of his misery. What a shame.
This got dark.
There are dogs in Kingdom Hearts that don't talk. They exist. They're a thing. You can go and pet them.
How can they tell the difference, though?
One walks on 2 feet and speaks and carries a shield and wears human clothes. I mean...
So...
Anyway, I've entertained you. You're common enough. So moving on. I'm sure Michael knows of this, but I don't know if you do, Adam. You guys know about like Kaizo Mario games and stuff?
Yep.
No clue what that is. Kaizo Mario.
Yeah. So think of Mario, but really fucking hard. Think of hidden blocks that will kill you as you're jumping over pits, stuff like that. That's like the bare bones basic part of Kaizo. That's kind of what Kaizo started as.
So like Mario Maker kind of hard, insane levels where there's just nothing but piranha plants and there's no ground. And
before Mario Maker came out and just publicized and made popular, like making super hard levels, people were modding Super Mario World and whatnot back in the day to be just that. And there you have Kaizo Mario.
And that's exactly.
All right, now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, and that's exactly where I'm going with this. So, a couple of weeks ago, a new ROM hack for Super Mario World dropped called Grand Poo World 2. I don't know if Michael knows, but Adam, so I know you're wondering why Pooh's in the name. Grand Pooh Bear is a Kaizo Mario Maker player. And this ROM hack is named after him. So it's Grand Poo World, based on his name of Grand Pooh Bear. Pooh's a funny guy, and he's actually sponsored by Red Bull now. So you have this Mario Speedrunner sponsored by Red Bull. How fucking cool is that?
Very.
But yeah, and he was, Michael knows who he is particularly because he's the one that caused the console to freeze at the last GDQ.
Yep.
Or one of the last ones.
Twice.
During a race. Yeah. So that's what he's kind of known for at the moment. But yeah, so this ROM hack dropped, and boy, what a time to jump into that community and watch this happen. Because I've been watching the game being made. The maker of the ROM hack, Barbarous King, he was mentioned at GDQ or something. He'd made another ROM hack. I happened to drop in one day while he was actually making this ROM hack. There's a program you can use, Lunar Magic. Really cool. And just the whole process, being into game development as I am, this is similar, level design, etc. Going through his thought process, watching him play this as he makes it, it was really cool. And then when it released, this was an event. A couple of the guys took off work. One guy took off a week from work to play this ROM hack. Because the first one, or I should say the last one this guy made, Grand Poo World, the first one was, well received, and a lot of people still played it up until this was dropped. So there was just thousands of people watching a ROM hack for Super Mario World. And why this is in my week and not just, kind of a news thing I would talk about is because I decided, as someone who has never beaten Super Mario World, hasn't even played it in... Fuck? I've never... I don't think I beat a single Mario game all the way through.
Sorry, Adam. I didn't ask him about this before I invited him onto the podcast.
I mean, jeez.
I didn't know.
So,
what kind of standards you got here, buddy? God, I hadn't beat Super Mario World.
Yeah, I was more of a Sega kid, so...
Did you at least beat Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah.
Did you really, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Anyway, so I decided, I've never gotten that far in Super Mario World. I've certainly never played a Kaizo hack. I was like, you know what? I just want to load it up. I know I won't do I won't do well. I know that. I'm just going to get a little bit of experience, kind of off this high of watching all these people do these amazing runs. And the guy that beat it first, he did 36 hours straight to beat it.
Nice.
And that was the bad ending. That's right. A ROM hack with multiple endings.
Holy shit.
There's puzzles, like escape room type puzzles to get to the good ending. It was a thing. This was, like I said, an experience. So I'm going to load it up. So I spent 4.5 hours in this game. How far do you guys think I made it?
All right, let me ask. Is this
you
game...
got the screen to move over once.
Is it you beat a level, you immediately go to the next level, or is it like you got to select levels?
It's got the overworld.
It's got an overworld? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 4.5 hours. You completed, whether or not you 100% of those levels are to be determined, I'd imagine, but I'm going to say that you completed seven levels.
Okay. And see, my looking at this and knowing like the level, just once you mentioned like how they were playing, where it's like you got to grab the turtle shell, kick it up in the air, do this backflip, blah 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 blah, to just get past one little obstacle. I'm thinking you got the screen to move over one section.
Wow.
With no Mario experience whatsoever, I'm thinking that it was like some shit you wouldn't have even thought of, because I know they do some shit I wouldn't have thought of.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna say this wasn't blind. I knew exactly what to do as well.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I watched
so you had
play. This wasn't blind.
So you were cheating. Okay.
No, I still had to play it.
Yeah.
I wasn't using save states. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was just playing the game.
So let me see. I'll give you triple that then. You got the screen to move over 3 times. So 3 times the length of the screen.
That's probably pretty close to right. In 4.5 hours,
Wow.
I got around halfway to the first checkpoint.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm a badass.
This is my divide, Chris. I love watching this shit, and I especially blind and especially blind races. I'm looking directly at you, GDQ. Bring back those blind races. But then somebody giving me the controller, going, "Here you go, buddy." Fuck no, no. I'm not doing the grab the shell, kick it right off of the Koopa, and have to jump in the air, do a flip, grab the item at the correct second to bounce.
One
you want to know
of his toe on this thing.
I'm going to throw this out there. I didn't have to do any shell grabs at this point. This was all just straight jump, jump, jump. That's all this was.
Those jumps can be fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
And I have seen these things played before, and I'm like, they have got this down to the pixel level multiple times just to clear it once. And that's not even counting timing with the shells or doing some weird glitch that you have to do to get past this part.
I mean, dude, even watching GDQ, they tell you all the time throughout the runs. Yep. So this game runs at 60 frames per second, and that was a 2 frame window right there, and he nailed it. And it's like, oh my god, they're saying that like it's nothing. They're saying that like the fucking guy walked across the street, but there was 58 times in that second that he could have fucked that up, but he got it right.
Yep. That's why I gave such a lowball estimate. I was like, if you went in there blind, you didn't fucking you maybe got the screen to move over. You maybe got past one thing on accident. But when you get to like
on the very first jump, because I didn't even know the controls for this game. It's been so long since I even picked it up. So I was just pressing buttons, seeing what would happen. I actually accidentally found a way to get over the first jump that the people that, the actual runners, they don't do, because they actually know how to, maneuver in the air. I have this little angled thing that I have to do, which isn't consistent at all, but that's the way I have to do it, or I just miss the jump. So I don't even know how I'm doing. And I think it takes about the same amount of time, but it's a lot less consistent. But yeah, I basically accidentally found that out as I was just flailing about the screen, trying to get over 2 flying Koopas.
Yeah. If you just play Super Mario and you just go through the normal challenges of the normal game that's not hellscape, fucking nothing but piranha plants, the floor is fucking lava. Just doing that, and I beat the living crap out of Super Mario World multiple times. Okay, I consider myself at my peak. I could maybe pull off some of that stuff if I was shown it, but I had no idea half the crap they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I look at that and I'm like, what kind of fucking sorcery is this shit? And they're like glitching through turtle shells and doing weird stuff, and I'm like, yep, nope, you'd never see that in the normal game. So, and at that level of play, that's the difference between the NFL and like kids playing football in the backyard.
Yeah. And one of the other things, in that 4.5 hours, that flew by. It didn't feel like I was sitting there grinding forever and ever, even though and that was split over 2 days. I did like an hour and a half one day and then 3 hours the next. Wow. The music in this ROM hack is so good. Most of the songs are pulled from other games, and I don't know what the first level song was, but I was not tired of that music after 4.5 hours of it being on loop and it's basically starting over and over. The sound design on this was just phenomenal. There's even one track in it that was completely written from scratch for this ROM hack by the guy that did the importing from other games. Like, there's Castlevania music in it. There's Doom music in it. There's music from all these other RPGs and games. Final Fantasy IV, I think. A bridge theme. You probably know what I'm talking about, Michael. It's either 4 or 6, something. Yeah.
Well, I know there was a Final Fantasy 1 had a bridge theme.
No, this was, I want to say it's 4 is what people keep saying, because it always comes up in chat as I'm watching on Twitch.
It probably did too. It's been a while.
But it's, just amazing sound design. So I was sitting there and I'd be sitting there frustrated at the jumps, and I'd catch myself, kind of bobbing with the music. And I'm like, okay, I need to focus. Quit listening to the music so much. So that's great.
Turns out the music is like the actual like hidden boss of the game. They've picked songs that will throw you off the timing intentionally.
So I encourage anyone that's kind of been interested in Kaizo, watching, GDQs or otherwise, Mario Maker, go check out some Grand Prix World 2 streams that happen. The speed runs have started. The 36-hour run I was talking about that, the first person took to clear it, that bad ending, any percent bad ending is under an hour now, just under an hour.
Wow.
So they've already gotten it. I don't know how many exits that ending is. The game total has 23 exits.
You know what this is, Adam? You know what this is? Mm-hmm. Well, Chris, too, you both know what this is. We all three know what this is. A new raid just got dropped, and people are scrambling to just throw shit at a wall and figure out how to get through this raid step by step by step. And when the group has that raid beat, and they've taken all their notes, and they go, now we're going to do this shit in one shot. That's how a 36-hour raid goes down to less than an hour. This is holds the same thing, a different genre. I love it.
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
Speaking of, one second, you got since we're on speed runs right now, and you're talking about that, I did actually have one thing I watched in the last 2 weeks, and it was a Final Fantasy VII speed running thing.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Now I want to know. I want to let you know this guy had the fucking worst fucking luck of any speedrunner ever. This guy, he's like, okay, it showed in the upper right hand corner, or like the upper left hand corner. He's like 40% chance to inflict poison by using bio on this boss, and he needs to use bio on this boss so you can do this glitch and fucking kill it really fast. And
it's not a glitch; it's just using lucky sevens.
Yeah. So, yeah, he uses bio, and it fails, and the percentage goes up. He's like, percentage shot to get bio on this one. This thing, he fails 7 fucking times in a row. It's at 99% the last 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he goes, yep, this speedrun's over. I ran out of items. I can't do this anymore.
Yep. Was that Caleb?
I don't remember the name of the speedrunner. I just remember him looking and being like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't have percentages up on screen, but he had a similar situation. And kind of funny, it was a few weeks ago. So I kind of thought maybe my times were off. But yeah, my PB in the Final Fantasy VII speedrun is 13 hours, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I've done one full run, got 13 hours, and that's, my current PB.
Nice. What's world record?
I saw
7 hours.
Yeah, 7 hours. I saw
if they can get it down to 7 hours, 7 minutes, 7 seconds, then they'll start doing damage to people. A lot of damage.
It's not how real life works.
That's exactly how real life works. Don't you fucking ruin this for me.
I watched AGDQ most of these trips, and I saw another one. I know this has happened before, but yeah, I felt real bad for the guy that had to quit, Chris. I forget what game he was playing.
I don't think I've ever even known what game he was playing.
It was kind of, I have to look it up now, but yeah, he was in it and something fucking didn't work, or his file didn't load right or something. He's like, that's okay. Yep. He was already kind of stressing out. He's like, all right, look, I'll just load up a save, and then went to load the save, and I think the save was bad or something. He was like,
he overrode it.
Oh yeah, he overrode the save, his safety save. He was like, all right, well, that's it.
Savage.
I can't. He just dropped the controller. He's like, yeah, the run's over. I can't. There's nothing I can do. And they panned the camera away, and they were like, we're sure you did everything you could, buddy. And man, my heart was aching for that dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was.
This guy I was watching, he wasn't even mad. He was impressed. he was like, "Are you fucking shitting me?" He's like, "Oh yeah," like the first 4 attempts. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is blah blah blah." Oh damn it, it didn't work. So he keeps talking, da da da. He's talking about something else. Second time, doesn't work. And he's like, oh, well, this is gonna probably hold me up for a couple extra seconds. I'll have to make it back up when it doesn't work again. He's like, fucking shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's definitely gonna work. Oh my God. And it just, it devolves into him just looking at this thing like, I'm going to run out of items. I ran out of items. It's over. We've lost.
Yep.
Yeah. It was, that kind of stuff. I get that. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing another 7 run just to use the lessons I learned on my first run, even though it's been a while since I did it, probably a year now. But there's still stuff I think of every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Was it Divinity?
Another one of the things I was watching, it showed like how they discovered the Sector 7 skip or something like that, and they were just showing all these different little knick-knack kind of things. I don't know, it was just something I've seen like here recently, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting,
Mm-hmm.
So it's good that you've kind of seen some similar stuff.
Adam, have you played Divinity 2?
I have played Divinity 1,
Okay.
and that game has got my eternal ire. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's a great game, but I fucking hate it.
Yeah, well, this
You wanna
guy...
know why I fucking hate it?
Sure.
Mate, you wanna know why I fucking hate this game? You make 2 main characters in that game.
Oh, this is that game.
Yeah, this is that game. We've talked about this before. Maybe Chris hasn't heard it, though. So, Chris, you make 2 main characters in this game. You get to pick their class, what they look like, etc. It sounds like a pretty cool game, huh? You have 2 main characters. You pick what each one of them says. So if you want one of them to be an asshole, then you make one of them an asshole. You want them to be a joker, you make them a joker. Straight edge, you make straight edge. You have a couple different little dialogue options you can choose. And here's the kicker. Every once in a while, you'll get into a situation. Then it'll be like, this guy's dog's sick. Should we give it some medicine? And there are 3 different choices you can make. You can choose the good guy option, and be like, yeah, let's get the dog some medicine. You can choose the neutral option, which is, just leave the dog alone. Or you choose the asshole option, let's kill the dog. If you choose one, and your characters aren't exactly the same, they will choose something else, and you have to debate them. And if you fail the debate, which is rock, paper, scissors, they will choose the other action for you.
Wow.
And they randomly fucking pop up. You'll be walking around on the map and want to pop up so you don't get to save right before this. Fuck that game. Forever. It's like, oh man, this guy's like, oh, I need my dog's dying. We got attacked by bandits. I just want my dog to live. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, I'll save your dog. We ain't got time for this shit.
Debate.
3 random bad picks later. We're killing the dog. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. Dead.
Yeah.
Wow, fuck that game.
I don't have the runner's name. He probably don't even want to have it called out anyway, but he was playing Divinity 2 when this happened. It's something like he forgot to create a death fog on the boat or something like that, and then he went to pull up a save, but he had accidentally wrote over his save, and then it was over. So yeah, you hate for that shit to happen. And I mean, there's that. There's also, again, Chris, what you brought up earlier, the race where he can fucking knock that Nintendo or knock that console and the game froze, and it's like, what? Start all the way over. There's no safety saves in Mario, man. You just do over.
You imagine if that had happened in The Wizard?
Oh,
that's
no.
what I want somebody to do that. That can happen now. So somebody needs to do that, where you have like speedrunners. They all get in like a, this giant thing that opens up, and like they show the little knights running based on who's in front.
Yeah,
they need to do that now. It needs to be an annual contest.
Yep,
with like some crazy announcer dude and everything.
But yes, there is nothing greater in this world of speedrunning than blind Mario Maker relay races. That is the greatest. That's the great, man. I'm out of my chair screaming. Oh, it's so great, especially when you see the ones where it's like they're right there, and you hear the crowd going like, "Oh, he fucking hit the spike!" And it's so great. I love it.
Yeah. So bringing it back to Kaizo. So after 4.5 hours in Grand Prix World 2, I said, you know what? This is interesting. I obviously, I didn't expect to make progress, but I jumped in the deep end, and I did have fun with it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go actually play some of the easier ones and see how it goes. So I downloaded one called Learn to Kaizo. Like it says, it actually walks you through different tricks you do in Kaizo ROM hacks. Some of them were pretty easy.
So meta. This is so meta.
And it progressed and got harder pretty quick, to the point where I needed to do shell jumps. And as I've been a part of the, Kaizo community the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a lot of people have the same issue I do, where I get to test number 2 in the hack and go, this sucks. Mm-hmm. It's like super hard, even for a Kaizo thing, especially starting out. So I'm probably going to end up dropping it to play a different one for a bit, to kind of learn more. Mm-hmm. I think I spent like an hour and a half. So it's not like I invested a lot of time, especially compared to what I did making no progress. I was making progress.
Spent more time than me, I promise you.
But it just got to the point where it's like, I'm not really, this isn't fun. I don't feel like I'm learning anything, because it's like, put together all the things you've learned in these last 5 lessons and, do this thing. But then it's like, this escalated really quick. Like, okay, I vaguely have to go here and here. And the first couple of jumps took a while, and, I still wasn't consistent with it. But when I got it, I was like, okay, well, what the hell am I supposed to do now? It's like, okay, I get that I'm supposed to do a shell jump, but where am I going?
It's like, now do the spin jump on this pixel while doing a shell jump in the middle of a bullet hell. No. Nothing but net.
No, none of the stuff was, that particular. It was really like one of the first shell jump lesson. They're like, this is how you do the shell jump. You press these buttons at the peak of your jump, or you release this button at the peak of your jump while holding this button. Okay, that's straightforward. But what I didn't know, and what they don't tell you, is like, okay, well, in Super Mario World, you have to be so far from a wall, or the shell will just pass through you, because there's some sort of, iframes, basically, where you don't interact with the shell. But they don't tell you that in the hack. I actually had to look up. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm literally following the instructions, and I almost had it a couple times, but it was very odd. And then I ended up, accidentally almost getting it. I'm like, okay, well, now I need to replicate that. And then I finally got it over the, huge obstacle to the shell jump. And it was pretty satisfying, once you nail it. But there's all these details that you don't learn, even in a game that tells you how to learn, Kaizo move. It's interesting. It's something that, when I'm bored and I want to put a little bit of time and hate myself for it, I'll hop in and maybe try. I have like 6 of them downloaded, these ROM hacks, so I can jump in and out depending on difficulty and at least try them out.
It's a deep lake you're wading into.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Good.
Aside from getting stuck on certain parts, overall, like Grand Prix World 2, I had fun for like the entire 4.5 hours. Learn to Kaizo was miserable learning experience.
Yeah, that's so. There are games that I have played multiple times. Like my favorite game of all time, Mega Man 4. If I had to go through my entire lifespan, I have probably played that game, and no exaggeration, over 200 times. Beaten it maybe half of that, but it's a comfort game for me. But even that game, or Mega Man X, or Castlevania Symphony of the Night, all these games that are already regularly speed ran, when you hear them casually talk in GDQs and speedrunning sessions, and they're like, oh yeah, that was a one frame maneuver I did, followed by a 2-frame and a 1-frame, and pretty much it's almost physically impossible to do that, but I've done it, and I can do it at ease now because I've been playing this one game for 7.5 years. That's the point where I go, that's why I don't want to do that. I love certain games, but I'm a gamer. I don't want to make that my job, or make it feel like it's a job, or devote all that time to one thing. If I was going to do that's I'd go pick up a guitar.
To a game right there.
Yeah, I'd go pick up a guitar, or pick up a drum set, or go to college or something. I don't know. It is possible for me to be that good.
It's worse than an MMO.
Yeah, it is possible for me. I have the capacity to be that good at a game, and it would be impressive. But there are people who are already doing it better than me, and I don't want to dedicate one game to fucking 6 years of my life. I just feels more power to them. That's more power to them. I love watching you guys and donating money to your causes.
And that's kind of why I wanted to go back to the Final Fantasy VII speedrun, because when I did, that's actually fun. Because I love that game. It's one of my top games of all time.
Yeah.
And I watched the speedrun a lot, and then to actually play it, it's not like, tight movements like a platformer. It's menuing, knowing when to do what,
right?
Knowing how to do each fight, and it's a lot more forgiving.
Yeah.
I say, even though I spent, like 3-4 hours just trying to kill one of the weapons, but it was fun the entire time through. And I think it might be one I go back and do again. I've been really thinking about it a lot, but every time I think about it, I'm like, no, I have all these games I need to play. The backlog's just going to get bigger if I do that. I need to wait. One day, when I don't have a backlog, like that'll ever happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about Anthem. So this game is a game. As I was mentioning,
it's a game. That's good to know.
The
end.
I had no experience with the beta because of server issues and then the loading bug, etc. So I ended up having to wait until release. Had my computer issues. Not going to rehash those. Yesterday, I picked up the game for real, loaded it up, progressed to that part that was bugged before. And there were a couple other funny bugs as well, but I got past the buggy parts, had no bugs, got to that fight. The enemies actually spawned, and I was able to complete the tutorial.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, good start. This game is, BioWare is the devs behind it, and they've not been doing too hot lately. And Anthem is not a, how do I put this? It's not going, from what I've seen, really improved their standing, but it seems to have kind of balanced out to where it's not really lowering, though it's on the verge. There are a lot of people that think if they don't, pull Anthem up, then, this is going to be the end of BioWare.
Yeah, they really needed this game to go gangbusters.
Yeah, that being said, like Andromeda, one of the big issues was the animations. This game's animations are great.
Oh, I bet they fucking are.
Yeah.
I bet they fucking are. They probably fucking did all that shit in-house.
So, leave it to Adam to set off animals. So, the animations look great. And I've heard that there are other areas in the dialogue where things get kind of odd, but whatever. What I've seen so far, the voice acting, pretty good. The characters are interesting. For the most part, some are more animated than others as far as how they act, but some of that's personality, some of that's probably could have been more effort put in, but overall I think they did pretty well there. The world looks good. I haven't, let's see, I don't even know if I can tell how long I spent since I've been adjusting everything and all my 4 hours is what Origin tells me I put into it. We'll probably say 3 to be fair for counting out the buggy time. So 3 hours of actual gameplay. I did a few missions, a couple, I want to say 2 story missions and then 2 side missions, roughly. So a little bit of gameplay there. The flight, I mentioned this before just from observation, but once I picked it up, flying with a keyboard and mouse is absolutely abysmal.
It seems like that game would be a controller game.
I picked up the controller just out of curiosity, and boy, was that enjoyable. It's a shame I'm using keyboard and mouse because I'm trying, so I don't want to get into this, but I'm trying to transition to playing more shooters with keyboard and mouse just to see how that experience goes in comparison. Because I've always been a controller FPS guy, Halo, etc., Destiny. That's just kind of been my go-to. So I'm trying, this is kind of a personal experiment for me, to play keyboard and mouse in particular, not immediately drop it because it's not as easy at first, and try to see how that feels over a period of time.
And I would advise you to play first-person shooters like that, unless you consider it's a first-person shooter. I typically, if I play a 3D action game over the shoulder, like the Mass Effect series, I always play that with a controller.
Yeah, I'm only talking FPS in particular. And it's not first person. It's, well, is it?
Is it?
No, it's not. parts of the game you're first person, but I think that's typically when you're not in your suit. And anytime you're in the javelin, you're in third person. That's kind of why it took me a moment to think about it. So I'm playing with keyboard and mouse. You ever play a racing game or something, especially one of the older ones, where you go around a corner, you get into the wall, and then you just kind of flop your car all around because the physics of the game do that to you, and the camera is bouncing around? That's basically me flying into walls in Anthem. It's hilarious as well as frustrating. Something I really like is the different different abilities on the javelins. Even like I'm playing the Interceptor, which the description was like, yeah, this is one if you want speed and doing all these things. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So I picked the Interceptor, and it certainly is fast. It's got like this double jump thing you can do, because you obviously can fly, but you can also jump before and then boost. I guess technically it's a triple jump, because you jump, boost, and then jump again with the Interceptor. I don't know what kind of jumps the others get. The Colossus probably only gets the one, because it's a big hunk of metal. So maneuverability is pretty cool with it. I still don't like flying in combat, because the controls are so weird that I'm flying and I'm just going to hit a wall. Or I have to completely stop in the air, which negates the whole purpose. I'm just putting myself in the open at that point. So
okay, let me ask you a couple questions. What is it just equipment, or are there skills, or like what separates me from you if we start playing Anthem?
So it's mainly weapons. As an example, what I was talking about, the different abilities and stuff, the Interceptor starts you out, or I guess I should say the Javelin you're at the start, which I don't know if it's actually one of the ones you can play, or if it's just a generic one that kind of has, generic abilities to get you just familiar with controls and stuff. But one of your attacks, the E key, whatever that's, the technical in-game term for it is, I think it might be the, because all these slots have different names. This is the support ability or weapon or item, and this is the grenade. This is technically considered your grenade, etc. Like Interceptor has an acid grenade, but the E key, whatever that ability is tied to, is basically ninja stars for the Interceptor. But you can get other types of things that will replace the ninja stars. Like I could replace it with these are striker abilities, I believe is the term, just came to me. Because the other one, you can actually melee, it gives you some boost to your melee. You melee them differently with a special weapon or something like that. I don't know. So the one you start with, you press E and it just kind of threw this thing at an enemy. It's basically a seeking grenade thing, which is pretty cool. But then going to the Interceptor, I'm throwing ninja stars at the enemies. And if I spin the button, I can throw up to like 3 or 4 at a time. I think I started out to 3 and now I'm up to 4, or it might have been 4 the whole time. I don't know, but you have a cooldown on it. So I'm just throwing ninja stars at the enemies. This is
like a skill you equip. Do you find these things like out in the open, or you pick them from a list?
Yeah, they're
drops. Do you have to unlock them, or
all these are drops. These are all equipable items.
Okay, are they consumed on use, or are they just you keep it like Diablo?
Yeah, it's equipment. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there are any consumables other than crafting materials.
So, I guess what I'm trying to look for are, because as I was saying earlier, it was kind of described as an RPG to me, and I was like, it doesn't seem and all I had seen was the only things I've seen on Anthem was, one, people talking about the release, which has nothing to do with how the game is. 2, the little preliminary tech demo kind of stuff, and very, very minor interspersed footage of the actual game. Sure. Like I saw comparisons between the tech demo and the actual game, and I was like, okay, whatever. But I haven't seen, like, when I'm looking at an RPG, I'm looking at the nuts and bolts.
I don't. I just to think about, I don't think I would classify this as an RPG. It's a looter shooter. It has a story, but it's not RPG.
How close to Destiny would you tie this?
So they are, aside from shooting a gun, I don't compare them at all. They are two vastly different games.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is, people have, had this Warframe to Destiny comparison. I never played Warframe. Looks fun, but I just never jumped into it. Mm-hmm. But this is night and day different than playing Destiny. Shooting the gun feels nothing alike. I love the feeling of shooting a gun in Destiny. I do not get that feeling in Anthem. It's not even, when it comes to shooting, close to the same. Abilities could be somewhat compared when you have the classes and subclasses for Destiny characters compared to javelins and their abilities. Because like you have an ult and you have these other abilities that you can do, which are kind of similar to your super in Destiny. But as far as running around playing the game, they feel way different to me. Some people say it feels faster than Destiny. I disagree, but I don't know.
But you played a lot of Destiny and Destiny 2 so far.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got, you've got a very good handle on what Destiny feels like. Mm-hmm. But if you can remember, what did Destiny feel like because I can remember what it felt like when I first started playing WoW, and it's completely different than how I go about the game playing it after, years and years of playing it. To a person that is a casual and is only going to put in, a month or two of gaming on these, would you say that initial feeling of Destiny was anywhere close to this?
So Destiny has gone through a lot of changes. That's absolutely true. But a lot of them are I'm trying to think of the way to say. So basically the feeling I had when I started playing Destiny, I still get when I play Destiny. It's basically the mechanics that change, loot that changes, the way, numbers change. But the feel of the game, when you shoot a gun, day one to now, pretty similar. Aside from when you jump from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, there's a little bit of a difference there. But it still felt the same throughout. That part of it that I like so much.
Me kind of just to make sure that we're on the same page here. When I say that the way I play the game changed and the way the game feels to me changed, what I mean is like in WoW, the first time I logged in, I was like, let me walk around over here. Okay, this guy's got a thing on him. Let me walk around. Oh, look, I can jump on these boxes. I bet I can hop around and do this and blah, 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 blah. And, just kind of messing around, getting used to controls. I didn't realize, running through these mobs would aggro them, or that, there were a lot of things that I did that were not efficient at all.
Sure.
When I play the game now, I log in, I beeline straight to here. If I get in a city, the first thing I do is go set my Hearthstone, to the end, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Things like that. I guess what I'm saying is when you're looking at how you approached combat the first time in Destiny, as opposed to the way you approach combat now and the way Anthem feels, do you get any kind of similar vibe between those at all in any way?
No, not really. And I probably should play Anthem a little bit with the controller just to get a better comparison between the two, because I do not like playing Destiny with a keyboard and mouse either. But that was for key binding reasons mainly. The Destiny itself, my game, aside from, working around new classes and stuff, my game style and stuff hasn't really changed. It's still overall the same from when it started. Obviously, improve and things change.
I got to tell you, I'm going to give a really quick live review right now because I've got Giant Bomb's quick look up muted while I'm listening to you talk about this game. And I would play Titanfall 2 over this in a heartbeat. I realize they're almost two different games. I get that, but there's a lot of verticality that I'm looking at. I'm watching this guy like float around and shoot from the air and dodge in the air and fly some more. Flying is nice. Don't get me wrong, but man, Titanfall 2 had such forward kinetic movement. Plus you can call it Titan, so that's all. That's good too. Just looking at this, and again, this is not an Anthem teardown podcast episode, I promise, folks, but
I can make it one.
I know you could. I know when Chris said those facial animations looks good, you were like, "Ooh!" I heard it. But
I bet they do.
Let me ask a different question, Chris. Sure. What did you see? You don't have to tell me specifically if you don't remember exactly what it was, but what did you see about Anthem that made you go, I'm going to get that.
so I can talk about it on the podcast.
Rip.
Well, I mean, if it was last episode, I haven't really listened to the whole thing just yet.
No.
Right.
Basically, so the reason I wasn't going to play Anthem, and then I realized that I could do the $15 EA Access thing and play the beta for free and then the game for free. I say, as I spent $15 on that. So I was like, well, that's worth it.
Not
Talk
a big
about
loss.
on the podcast, try out the game.
Yeah.
Because I hate to not play a game just because people are crapping on it.
Right. I agree.
And I wasn't one of those that jumped all over the game because of the beta when they were using an old build. Yeah, 6 weeks is a long time in game dev time. That's a lot of bug fixes, a lot of changes. They rolled out what patches they could. A lot of it got better. I wasn't going to shit on them because of bad beta launch. As far as I know, the main game launch was smooth.
How about this,
aside
then?
from some loading issues.
If you had to guesstimate about how many hours you put into this game so far?
About 3 for real.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
It had to be a pretty damn good game to do it, but has the game grabbed you yet?
I am interested in playing more. I will be playing more.
Gotcha.
Because I'm interested in the story.
Gotcha.
The
You at least
story of
haven't
it is
had the
actually-
opposite of like, I'm kind of, no, this is...
Yeah. It's not a Division 2 so far.
Oh,
There you
God,
go.
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I did, and you missed. I did play some of the Division 2 beta. Well, I've seen more Division 1, which I wasn't into. So I'll probably still play it when it launches just to get a better experience and a better feel for it. But yeah, I'm not hopeful for Division 2 at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Good old Anthem.
That's one of those things where because I knew a year back I wasn't gonna play Anthem. A year back, it was like these things came to light, and this was while Andromeda was just exploding, just all over the place, and then they cut the funding for it and all that, and then they disbanded the team, and I was like, let me hear all this backstory.
You're just riding your BioWare hate train the whole way through.
Oh, man. Oh, no. You can go back to earlier episodes of the podcast. BioWare is one of my favorite fucking developers.
I'm talking about because of Andromeda since then.
Oh, no. Well, I still don't. And I still hold true to the same, and I probably said it on the podcast, but the way it works for me is Mass Effect 1 was good, so I owe it to them to play Mass Effect 2. I'll buy that game. Mass Effect 2 was good, so I owe it to them to buy Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 was good. I owed it to them to buy Andromeda. They burnt me in on Andromeda. So I still got a couple games I owe them. If they put out a Mass Effect, I will buy it. Hands down. Same for Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins was immaculate. Loved it. Bought Dragon Age 2. It was kind of I really did not like Dragon Age 2. So I rolled into the new one, and I measured it equally. I was like, I liked the first Dragon Age. I didn't like the second Dragon Age. Don't know if I'm going to get the third one. Looked at the third one. It looked okay. I played it. It was really good. At least the little bit I played of it until my hard drive crashed. Going back to the beginning of this podcast. And at that point, I lost literally all my data. For whatever reason, Steam didn't back it up. And I was not going to go 100% that game like 85% of the way through again. So I stopped it, and I still haven't beat that one. Need to go back and finish it, but I'd have to start completely from scratch. But yeah, I'd say that was a good game. I'll buy the next Dragon Age.
You owe it to BioWare to buy Anthem. You said it.
No, I do not.
You owe it.
Nope. Not even a little bit. I do not owe them a new IP. I do not. I will approach each IP individually, and when I look at it and I go, okay, well, what's the story on Anthem? Maybe I do. I owe it to BioWare to at least look at it, but I looked at it. it, and what I see is this is not really an RPG. It's out of their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And as you know, and that's why I've been so kind of interested in whether or not it's an actual RPG or not. It's not even an MMORPG. It's not even kind of pretending it's kind of a loot shoot game. It's not. Even Diablo had statistics. And Diablo is kind of RPG light. Tactical, 3D isometric. It's got strength, health, mana, etc. This doesn't have any of that.
Yeah. Here's my thing with Anthem. the two things that I've seen about it that I paid attention to was the first was the first reveal. I think it was a Game Awards. I actually don't remember where I saw it at, but it was that first big reveal trailer where it showed them like going and flying all around, and I was like, okay, this looks cool. It looks impressive. Look at all the the vistas and the foliage and the forest areas and the water. Now they're underwater and they are flying around. Iron Man simulator. It looks cool. That's all I got. That's all I knew of. It's all I took it for. And then the last year when the game kind of got a little bit more revealed, what got revealed to me didn't draw my attention. I got what they were going for. I kind of got the gist of what they were trying to show, but I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of bored with it. It's not blowing my mind. It's I don't know why I'm supposed to be excited about this. And even now, when I'm watching the gameplay itself, I got a bipedal guy throwing fireballs and shooting, and a bunch of other people shooting back at him. I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting, but I'm not seeing anything that's making me go, yeah, I'm dropping 65 right now. Titanfall, as a complete opposite example, as a complete different game. The moment that they were doing the wall running and the fast movement and the hacking of the bot robots, I said, okay, this is pretty cool for a shooter. The moment they said Titanfall, and the fucking Titan fell out the sky, and he climbed into the Titan, I said, oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah.
That's your sold moment right there. That's the winner.
I'm in. I'm trying, but I don't see anything.
See, when I look at this thing, it goes back. It's just, all the baggage it had from Andromeda, and the fact that it wasn't an RPG. This thing that had 2 strikes against it right off the bat. I went in there looking like, okay, is this going to be a Destiny type RPG, and all indications were it wasn't going to even be that. People were calling it a Destiny killer or whatever, and I was like, I don't see that. I see co-op shooting, PvE.
Yeah.
That's what I see, and I see it going, oh, well, that's doesn't sound interesting to me at all. Is there going to be an adversarial mode to this? What's the draw? Do you just go out and explore an infinite world, and they just throw new maps out there every so often? Is that how they're going to do this?
But I will say this for Chris though, for $15, yeah, I'd try it out for $15. Sure, I'm sure I can get something out of it for $15, at least from the graphics
I think the
alone.
story is, I think the story is interesting. I'm curious because they've got a lot of lore behind it built up. There was this live action thing that was released. An actual director did a live action. Not based on the actual game story, but kind of, I think it was either in the past or the future, something like however many years, one of those things.
Neil Blomkamp, the Anthem trailer, Conviction?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that's it. That was amazing to watch. And that kind of threw it didn't throw really relevant lore out there, but it just kind of threw out, the possibilities that the lore and story could have.
Because that's something I can't even talk about the story of Anthem. I know nothing about whatever story there. So I mean, maybe that'll, and I'd try that out for $15.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I think the overall concern, what a lot of people are concerned with Anthem, as far as getting beyond the initial hate train, is the longevity of it, what they'll do end game, that type of stuff, because looter shooters, that's what you end up, that's your meat and potatoes. Once people hit cap, then what do they do?
Right.
But for me, like playing Destiny, I didn't do raids for the longest time. I didn't care. I just enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the gameplay, etc. So end game wasn't a big deal to me. For this one, the story is interesting to me. Gameplay is what it is. But if the story keeps being interesting, I'm going to play it until I run out of content, and then I'll probably drop it. Just because that's not typically, I don't like the looter shooter grind end game typically. So unless you do something really good, I probably won't do that grind, but I'll probably play story content.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the, it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of, it's really bittersweet, cause I like BioWare. I don't want to see them get shit canned by EA. But when it comes to this game in particular, I go, why was this even created, or why was it created to the detriment of this other game? And that's always going to swirl around in my head when I hear the name. It's like, I can't think of one game without thinking of the other, and I can't look at this game and go, this is made by a team that made this other game. Pictures start swirling in my head of Dragon Age, and then you shoot over to Anthem, and they just don't mesh to me. Yeah.
Chris, did you have anything else for your week, man?
Nah.
Because I got a few little snippets that we can run through real quick before we end tonight. Maybe this will help Adam feel a little bit better. Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order, that will be revealed in April, Adam. I hope good things for you, man, because that's looking to be pretty good. If you don't know anything about it, you should check into it. That's you and the audience. Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that has surpassed 10 million copies sold. It's nice to hear stuff like that. That's awesome. But new Super Mario Brothers sold 31 million copies, and nobody. So yeah, and no game is probably ever gonna surpass the mountain of Tetris with its 170 million copies among the other permutations. So just tell me yes or no if this bothers y'all at all. There will be no Smash Brothers in Evo this year.
Not even a little bit.
Not personally, no. It's interesting.
Yeah. It kind of bugs me because the Smash Brothers has always had this big push. I mean, like, look, we are legitimate. We need to be taken seriously. We're going to be at Evo tournaments. Yeah. People want us there. And now this year, they're not going to be there. That's kind of crazy.
I wonder why.
Yeah, me too.
Because they just had new games, so maybe they're giving it a break for a year for the scene to grow. I don't know. That's good speculation, man. I didn't even think of it that way. Yeah, they may be. Because God.
That actually sounds like the most reasonable answer.
Because a lot of people are transitioning over to the new game from the previous ones now. Apparently it's getting a huge fan base.
Good. Good.
Apparently Joker's OP.
Well, we don't know it because he's not out yet.
2 or 3 more weeks for that.
Mortal Kombat 11's roster got leaked. I really wish I could find out what Ed Boon thinks about that. I wonder what press has surrounded that, because I don't know if they were. Ed Boon might not care at this point. He'd be like,
Shaggy one of the confirmed characters?
I don't know.
There was a Change.org poll trying to get Shaggy implemented. Yeah. And Mortal Kombat 11. So
I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 is gaining a lot of positivity. It's all over the news. It's getting highlighted. It's getting a lot of spotlight. And it might be at the point now where he's like, yeah, my roster, whatever. It's still coming out. I saw some of the characters, and I agree with some people. I don't really care for some of the changes they made to the characters' costumes and whatnot. But whatever. Looks like there's gonna be a lot of fighters in it. A lot of Pokemon we've been talking about today. Might as well talk about some more. The Detective Pikachu. The Detective Pikachu movie. Oh no! What?
Yeah.
We'll get Chris.
Deadpool
we'll get
Pikachu.
There. We'll get there. Just hold on. The Detective Pikachu movie is coming out soon. Adam, are you gonna see this movie?
I'm lit for this movie.
You're lit. You know what
That's
that means. Right. Okay, Chris, are you gonna see this movie?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm in such a weird spot with this thing because I'm so pissed off that it's the first quote unquote live action. I say quote unquote because there's CG involved. It's the first live action Pokemon movie, and they are specifically going to a Detective Pikachu story, not Ash finds fucking Pikachu and goes on it's not the 2000 Pokemon movie live action. No, it's this Detective Pikachu thing. I'm so off put by that decision, but then I watch a trailer and I see how pretty fucking cool the Pokemon look actually designed and in real life in just regular everyday situations. I'm like, okay, that looks really good. I'm so torn, man. I'm so torn.
All right. Check this out. Counter question. They make this movie, except it's 20 years ago CGI.
All this same movie?
Yep. 1999 CGI.
It's not. Again, I'd still be in the same boat, man. It's the story is what's throwing me off. The premise, the setting is throwing me off. But I mean, 20 years ago, there was some of the CG was okay. There was some movies.
Some of it was.
There were some times when Jurassic Park had some CG in there. It looked all right.
Yeah, well, those were things made to be realistic. These weren't, you need giant.
You need to see the trailer for this movie before you say that, because they look pretty goddamn real.
Okay.
No, Chris, that's not the peak. That's not the Pokemon news. Just hold your horses. This is just a friendly reminder to both of you and the audience as well. Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, we're weeks and less than months away. It's around the fucking corner. It's in this year. You can look in your calendar and flip forward a few pages and you're there. It's getting close.
Did y'all see the longer trailer that came out for Captain Marvel?
No, I may for Captain Marvel, but I'm kind of for both of them. I don't want to see shit. I've only seen one Endgame trailer, and that's pretty much the first one that ever got released, and that's it. I don't want to see nothing else. I've been scrolling through shit. I've been moving on. Man, as I was trying to do... Is the first one the one where Iron Man is on the thing, or is it the one where it shows Captain's shield get cracked in half? And I don't remember seeing his shield get cracked in half. You're talking about Endgame, right?
Yeah.
No, the first one that I saw was the one where he was in the ship and kind of talking to himself and doing a monologue, and he's like, yeah
apparently he's like fighting the main dude, and he like cracks his shield in half. And So anyway, today, as I'm doing homework for trying to catch up on all the news that's happened in the last month, anything news related, I'm skipping through articles, and they're like, hey, did you see what new person got revealed on the set of Endgame? I'm like, scroll. Oh, did you hear what the new ending is? Scroll. I'm like, God, I'm not even looking at Endgame news. I'm looking at video game news. What are you doing? Stop. Reggie Fils-Aimé retired for Nintendo, or is retiring, one of the two, and his successor, the one and only Doug Bowser. That's right, Adam. The new president of Nintendo is Bowser. Bowser won, brother. Bowser has conquered Nintendo
America.
In America.
There is this is a brand spanking new before we get into Pokemon. New upcoming Squaresoft game. Brand new IP, brand new game called Last Idea. They revealed it. They revealed it on their Twitter, and I know nothing about this game. I just saw this article and folded my arms and went, "Okay, Square. So you're trying my patience now."
That's the most troll fucking game name I've ever heard, right there.
It does, but. We were just this is like we were just talking a month or so ago of how Squaresoft used to put out game after game after game after game, and yeah, we had Octopath Traveler was recent-ish, but now we got this new thing, and it's like, hey, we're still doing the RPG thing, we're still doing the JRPG thing. You guys want to give us a shot? And I don't know. I'll have to look into this Last Idea thing and see what I can determine.
Final Fantasy Last Idea.
Smartphones.
Well then, thank you, Chris, for saving my time.
Rip the fucking eject button.
Pokemon Sword and Shield was announced over a Nintendo Direct. It was about 8 minutes. 7. Oh no! Please say no.
No.
Is it really?
No, I'm talking about the Last Idea.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
yeah, that's horrible.
I can't believe that. That crushed me.
So yeah, there was a Nintendo Direct a few days ago. It was about 7.5, 8 minutes long, and that was it. And it was rumored to be about Pokemon, and that's exactly what it was. Finally, we are getting a new Nintendo Switch specific Pokemon game. The 5th generation, Chris. I think we're on. Sorry. The 8th generation of Pokemon are going to be on this. And they got some character reveals and showed what the game looks like. And this basically looks like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but it's the new generation of Pokemon set in a new town, yada, yada, yada. What did you feel walking away from that direct?
So the style, it looks like they're just picking up from the 3DS, which is what Pokemon Let's Go did. That's the same style they were using on the 3DS at the last gen.
Yeah.
And like we talked about before, Let's Go was, an intermediate between the two. Mm-hmm. It was kind of getting that crowd from Let's Go over to the main franchise. Mm-hmm. And I think, they accomplished that pretty well. When this comes out, we'll certainly see that. But it looks, like it's another Pokemon game. I mean, there's Pokemon, as much as it's changed and grown, it's also stayed very much the same.
Right.
I didn't see anything that jumped out at me like, oh my God, the biggest thing is, well, what's the new Pokemon? What's the new region?
Yeah.
They showed a little bit about the Galar region. It looks to be a very interesting, kind of more fleshed out region compared to other games, actually.
Yeah.
It looks like they put more thought into the landscape, the area around it. It's not just a, grass, on the side of the road as you go from one town to another. It looks like they actually put thought into, well, this is a functioning society. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool for it to get that true RPG treatment, vice just, like I was saying, the simple map with Pokemon collecting.
Yeah. Did it stick out to me as a game that I would run out and buy? No, because again, I've been so disjointed from the Pokemon universe for way too long. I respect it. I'm totally happy for the billions of people that love this franchise. For me, it's been a kind of cool series. But what I will echo that I've heard from a lot of people, and again, it's not me saying it because I don't have a vestment in this franchise, but in the direct, they were talking about all these innovations that they were going to do, and this is going to be so many new things, and so this and so that. And then when I saw it, I said pretty much what you said, Chris. I said this looks like a 3DS / Pokemon Go Eevee situation, and it's just Pokemon again. I don't know what this franchise needs to do to change things up. Maybe they need to play Mega Man and don't change things. Maybe if
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree. Because what could they do? Are you gonna grow these kids even older and it may become like a grim dark Pokemon? Because I nobody want. You think you'll want that because it would be cool, but you don't want that. That's the charm.
I mean, if you look at the Pokemon backstories, you're already there.
Yeah. This. I'm sorry, Chris. This game franchise to me is about a young person's love for an animal. That's all it is. That's my pet. That's my friend / pet. And I don't need to see Pikachu with a fucking trench coat on and fucking emo hair on my 35-year-old guy. Like we've come through the dark ages and we're in the post-apocalypse. No, goddamn stop. No.
Pikachu's like smoking a cigarette, leaning back in the chair. I see some shit.
While
man.
I agree, when I saw this direct, I was like, yeah, I kind of feel you, man. I don't see a lot that's like innovating and blowing my mind on what's changing. But then I thought, well, I don't think I really want anything to change. This is Pokemon. Let it stay that way.
Here's the thing that we're kind of glossing over here, and what I've talked about before. The big change here, it's on the fucking Switch.
Yeah.
That is a huge enough jump that I am totally okay if it was barely more than a port of the last game. I would still be totally okay with this.
Yep.
Because it has not been on a console like this. This is a huge leap for them. Mm-hmm. And it does look a little different. I went back and looked at some screenshots. They did, give a little bit more love to the graphics, but still the same style. But yeah, I'm totally okay with this as the first real core game on a console.
Yeah. And see, that's the I guess this is the perfect console to do it on because the Switch is basically a mobile platform.
Exactly.
So at this point, it's kind of a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, you know? Except now you got a second controller, so now you can multiplayer.
I'm going to go ahead
and I've actually...
That split screen action in.
I've heard a rumor and I don't know if there's any credence to it. I don't even remember where I saw this at, but I saw someone say that they're not going to do the 3DS games anymore, that they're going to be Switch on.
Yeah.
So they're going to completely phase out possibly the 3DS as a whole and just transition to Switches as a mobile and, living room system.
It would be amazing if after the Switch gets replaced by the next console, the Swatch or whatever the fuck they're going to call it, they use the Switch as the mobile platform.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah, they totally could.
It's got versatility. It's perfect. Before we end tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, Score Bunny is best Pokemon ever. So
that's my starter.
That's that. Yeah. Adam has no starter because he's an old man. So.
And just so our audience knows, Micah won't be playing this. I will be pre-ordering this. I will have copies for both my children, and we will all be playing it day one. So
damn,
don't worry about coverage. I got you.
Well, here's what I want to know. All right, so you said 8th generation of Pokemon. That's adding an additional 100 plus for every generation. So they've got to be well over 1,000 by now. So that's
it's not a full 100 each gen, I don't think.
Well, somebody out there right now, their fingertips are searing white hot as they are typing in corrections. I don't know. What I do know is that they do add a multitude of Pokemon.
807.
807. Total. We are now hopefully about to hit over 1,000 Pokemon. That'd be pretty cool.
For a Switch title, I wouldn't be surprised if they went that far with it.
And that's a bit to me that's a bit much, but to people that love Pokemon, that's not enough. So
here's the question.
Here's the thing.
Have you caught them all?
Real quick. And the first one, absolutely. But every game doesn't have every Pokemon.
Right.
Your region you're in has a subset. So the last one I played, I think there were 200 Pokemon I could get, or 180, or whatever arbitrary number. 2/3 of those, or maybe even only half, would be new. And then the other half would be from previous selections of previous gens. And you could bring them all in if you transfer them from other games. Yeah. They all were compatible with the game, so to speak, but you couldn't find beyond that, whatever I said, 180. I don't even know what numbers they actually did in the game itself.
Go ahead, Adam, your question.
Okay, so have you caught them all? All 800 and whatever fucking Pokemon?
No.
Well, I'm taking away your Pokemon card.
So that's
just keep that right here.
That's gonna do it for tonight, folks.
Put it in my pocket.
It's gonna do
when
it for
you
tonight.
play the game, then we can talk about Pokemon cards.
Sliced.
You haven't played it either. Ooh.
I wasn't throwing shade at him, so it's on you. You pick up your own boots, man.
Oh no, I'm talking to him.
Oh,
it ain't out yet.
That's gonna do it for tonight.
The last 2 gens.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Definitely feels good to be back on my show for sure. I missed recording. Definitely missed recording. So a lot of stuff talked about this episode. We talked about some Anthem, some Kaizo Mario. We talked about some Kingdom Hearts, even a little bit of Pokemon news. What did you think of the latest Nintendo Direct? Are you okay with Nintendo doing these little spotty directs anyway? What did you think of the Pokemon announcement? Did you pick anything out that just caught your eye? Are you going to be a Chris and get a pre-order, multiple copies for the family, yada, yada, yada? Are you in the fuck you Pokemon corner? Like, where do you stand in this situation? Have you played Anthem? Have you went above and beyond the hype and said, nah, fuck it, I'm still playing it? Or the hatred and said, no, I'm still playing it? Are you enjoying it? Or are you not? Why are you enjoying it? Why are you not? Especially Kingdom Hearts 3. I'd love to know everybody's thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. Explain to me why I'm wrong. What am I thinking too hard? Do I just need to play through it and see the other kingdoms and just get it over with? Or no, am I right? This series is fucked and I just bought into the hype. Anything else you'd like to talk about? What games are you playing right now? What anime are you going to go watch? What movies are you hyped for? We love to hear any conversation from our audience. I promise you, that's why we do this show to begin with. Believe it or not, it's not just to talk to you. It's to talk with you. And there are many ways you can get us information. There's many ways you can get a hold of us. We have a Facebook page. You can go to Facebook and search for End of Time Cast. It might be how you found this episode right here. We have an email address. You can find us at endoftimecast@gmail.com. That's endoftimecast@gmail.com. No funny numbers in there. Just spell it as you heard it. We have a Twitter page. You can tweet us, retweet us. We have a YouTube page where you can catch up on all of our YouTube content, which is basically all of our episodes back to back to back. Now that I'm home, I can get back on a better schedule of uploading. I think we got like 30, 35 so far. It's a work in progress. And plus, there are a plethora of other places you can go to find our content. You should be able to go to Google and, in quotes, type End of Timecast, and it should take you to some way to listen to us, download us, and contact us. We love to hear from you. We love to talk to our audience. We love to hear your opinions, your thoughts, just stories, anything game-related. That's what we're here for. So, yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week. And until next time, I'm Michael.
I'm Chris.
And I'm never going to play Anthem.
Good night, everybody.
Bitches.